And everybody, let's see what Sneako is up to.
My daddy got a big.
What about this one? Nah, but I used Nick in the last thumbnail.
Composition is just kind of awkward.
Steezy. Machine instead of music. Brother, do not talk about this and that and. I've never heard someone speak Creole like that.
Yeah, that's actually one of the sections I had over here where I wanted to discuss Haiti with you a lot. So,
Oh, cool.
get into that.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the whole back. Yeah, we'll wait for your camera to.
Actually, you know what? While I'm doing this, I saw some because while I was doing research for this and I was looking up some last minute clips. I saw there's something going on with you being on some merch line.
Yeah, that's Nick Fuentes'
Yo, man, this is going too slow. Let's speed up the time.
merch. He posted an AI picture of me wearing Epstein merch. I'm not making money off that. I didn't co-sign off that. You know, he's my friend and stuff, but yeah, it's like not great optics. But I think I cleared that up. Yeah.
All right, that's cool. Not gonna lie, being AI on Epstein merch is wild, but you're taking it a lot better than. Oh, you know what though? I don't know the details. So I ain't gonna say nothing. So it's done with. Just need an opportunity to react to stuff, so I might put in an extra window. Use OBS when you stream, or use something else?
OBS.
All right. Only thing I have to do now is because eventually we might play some videos. So what I wanted to do is just share screen real fast. And probably go one at a time because then I have to create a separate scene so it doesn't fuck everything up. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. You're not doing a setup, right?
What do you mean?
There's not a.
Like I have to shut up. No, nothing like that. No.
Okay.
And when I play, and look, we have it on camera that I'm not doing that. It's not gotcha related stuff. Okay, so.
This brand has attacked me far more than Aba and Preach in recent times. So it's like, why would the allegiance, you know? Or allegiance, this stuff is silly. And we have spoken before, years ago. We've had some decent conversations back and forth. And I think this good conversation, if it's a continuation of the one we.
Okay, so what this is them coming together and speaking about their beef or what? So yeah, Sneako and Aba, they're gonna speak about their beef, I think. Let's go.
Had 4 years ago should be interesting because we do have very different perspectives, but I think there's some sense of overlap as well. I think it could be interesting.
Yeah, honestly, Aba, he's a weak ass. Bro, he's such a fucking pussy on so many things.
I don't disagree there. I think I don't know. I think you're quite different than me on this case, but I don't really befriend content creator much. I think I might have happened once or twice.
Oh, Aba, he's so different than you. Oh, you so fucking perfect. Shut the fuck up, you fucking weirdo.
For me, where I've actually gotten close to people, I consider them friendships in an earnest manner. And so for me, like whenever I do content like this with other people, which is not very often. I mean, the last year I might have collabed with people 3 times. And part of the reason for that is I don't like the expectation that comes with it after the fact, where I feel like people oftentimes, they'll prioritize loyalty over their audience, loyalty over values, loyalty over everything.
Yeah.
And it's not a. Wait, why is that?
Yeah, you guys barely collab. You don't really collab with Destiny anymore, right? I saw you guys used to collab a lot.
We haven't collabed or we haven't spoken in
Long time.
a very long time.
Yeah, me, same thing. I forgot. I don't know what he's up to. I saw the only other one I saw was with Flagrant, was with Andrew Schultz and Akash Singh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because we were in the comedy circuit and then we did the Just for Last festival together. I actually met them away from like the cameras, still in a performance setting, but it was a bit different. But yeah, that's even them. Like people see me on a podcast, somebody like, "Oh, you guys are friends." I'm like, I'm not friends with Adam 22. I don't know what to tell you. We did an interview once or twice, and I enjoyed talking to him, but I don't know this guy's first name. I don't know
Adam.
what his house looks like. We've never been to dinner, so I don't know why there's always that expectation that you're friends with someone because you're friendly on camera or you're laughing together. But I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, it can get muddied up for sure. I've had so many former friends.
Blah, 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 blah. Let's
Crushed
get
him.
into
He got
it.
really upset. So it's like I'm not gonna try to explain myself to people that don't look into my content.
Right. But do you think they miss you just because they don't agree with you politically, or is it they feel like they shift from like live streaming to from like
Videos?
more structured videos or scripted stuff to the more live stream format?
I think
do you think it's that shift, or do you think it's political, or is it both?
I think it's both, but it's mostly the fact that it's the Red Pill Association. Even though I distanced myself from the Red Pill ideology 3 years ago, but I understand why people think that. The optics, obviously, you saw the Clubacos and stuff. Like, I'm still around a lot of these people, and they think that I have the same beliefs. But when you ask them, what do I believe in, what I talk about, they're like, oh, I don't know, I don't watch the content. So they see clips and they have an idea, they see articles of what I'm about. Especially I've been banned for 3 years. I just got unbanned on YouTube. I was banned everywhere on social media, still am on.
Okay, wait, we know what Sneako stands for, but what does Aba stand for? This guy, what does he stand for? He stands for whatever is popular, whatever is mainstream, nothing else, bro.
Social media sites. And, yeah.
Do you, when you think back to how you were when you first came on the scene as a creator, which I think you started when you were like 14, 13?
I started when I was a little bit younger, but I started my main channel, Sneako, May of 2013, so 13 years ago.
Okay. And when you look back to that period, when you started making content, I think just for reference, is it possible I play one of your first videos, just so for the audience who doesn't know how you came onto the scene? Can I play one of like your first videos?
Absolutely. I appreciate you asking.
So I'm gonna go here on the Sneako channel.
YouTube, come on over to.
And it's actually
Kick.
one of your own popular, so you know exactly which one I'm talking about.
YouTube, I'm gonna cut it. Come on over to Kick.
All right.
Pinning it in the chat.
I'm gonna skip past the part where you play the copyright stuff, just in case that's an issue for you. I don't know. I'm gonna change the window to yours. Okay, so right here. How old were you when this was going on?
I just turned 17.
Okay. Let's see. All right, let me not make it full screen. We'll just play it.
What we live for. It isn't how can I make myself better, it's if I go hiking this weekend, how many Instagram likes can I get if I take a selfie next to a tree? Our image is everything, and if you pay attention, you'll see the lengths people go to maintain this. Virtually everything you do is in anticipation of how someone else is gonna react. You know that guy who says he doesn't give a fuck about what people think, or, you know, don't get offended if you don't like my beliefs, shit like that? That guy does care. They all care. He just wants people to think that he has a personality too. So don't be that cunt, please. Just be a different guy. Don't be that guy. Let me show you an example of this. I found a tweet here and it reads, I love how strong I am now. There are two options here. Either one, it's a dude who went to the gym twice and can now bench 85 pounds, or it's a girl in her late teens who wants attention. I prefer the latter. I'll go with the latter. And yes, I was right. And from this selfie in her profile picture, I swear to God on my life, I guarantee you within 10 seconds, I'm not cheating, I will scroll and I will find you a selfie that either says I'm a loser, I'm a nerd, or me too. Here we go. God damn it. So let's jump in her mindset here. Nobody's actually buying that she thinks she's a nerd, and she knows that too. But in 2015, it's not cool to seem like you're trying hard. So alone in her room putting on makeup at 8 p.m., she's wondering, how can I get attention for the next few hours? She has to feel important for the rest of the night. So what she does is she scans her room. Voila. She
Honestly, Sneako in 2015, he was on the shit, man.
sees her glasses on her desk. That's a prop for a selfie. LOL, nerd. She won't post a picture of herself chugging Mountain Dew and sucking Dorito stains off of her fingers while, you know, going to town watching anime from the early 2000s. Now, the glasses are enough of a prop for this picture, but that's just on the internet. Everybody says that. We spend time crafting this image of ourselves with filters, music quotes, and edgy tweets. It's pretty much like making a Sims character. How you see me on YouTube is this person that I create through hours and hours of hard work. I script literally everything I say and edit it in a program. You have no idea what I'm actually like. For all you know, I could be a YouTube drone created by Google to scare you away from the YouTube you don't have to pay for. In real life, people view me as a kind of wannabe, sometimes annoying, slightly funny fuckboy. And you know, subconsciously I spend a lot of my time perfecting that image. I don't wake up and think, how could I not be a douchebag today? I wake up and think, who can I piss off the most? Most of you have extremely fucked up thoughts that you don't say out loud because they affect your persona. I'm guessing at least more than half of you are closet racist, and even some of you kind of wanted me to go home at some point. I was born here, by the way, please don't deport me, Mr. Trump. Probably more than half of you have some more gay thoughts than you care to admit, and at least 1/3 of you have spent some time on the really sketchy parts of the internet. Fucking weirdos. The reality is most of us are going to spend our lives
Aiden, you're a
wondering
pedo
how
for saying
everyone
that.
else is going to see us instead of improving ourselves for ourselves. You know, it even comes down to your haircut. When I have a buzz cut, I want people to think I'm a big tough guy, you know, big tough guy. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó, rey? Hey, oh my.
What the fuck, man? He was funny in 2015. God damn it. Young Sneako is funny.
When I got the quarter black, half Asian fro going on, I want you to think that maybe I go to museums or something. Maybe I'm one of those guys that reads grown-up books with titles that have sentence fragments, like Searching for Meaning. I guarantee you that's a book. I don't know though. Should I post this? Maybe people are gonna think I'm a tryhard.
And for everyone who's in the chat, being like, yo, Aba, we couldn't see the video. I know. Don't worry, I'll make sure it's fixed for the next one we end up playing, but at least now you guys know.
What's wrong with this? I don't know why Aba he's even showing this, man. What's wrong with you, Aba, man? Why are you showing this? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Cook him for something he did when he was 17? You fucking weirdo.
No, I'm aware of the issue. So that's a video from that.
And there isn't even anything to cook him on. What the fuck did he lie about?
Era, and I watched quite a lot of your old content in preparation for this. I watched like a lot. I watched a couple of short films, all these different things. And I'm curious if you had to describe yourself at the inception of your journey in content creation, how would you describe yourself? What you were about?
Yeah, that's a good question. First, I'm cutting my YouTube stream for people watching the YouTube coming over to Cake. It's pinned in the chat. Just ended it. But it's funny, like, even though this was posted in 2015, or yeah, it's 2015, and there's a quote I say like, actually, I was born here. Please don't deport me, Mr. Trump. And that was before he was even president. So it's like, and even that stuff, I'm like, from the YouTube that you don't have to pay for, it's like now you have to pay for YouTube. I'm talking about like mass censorship and everything. A lot of that stuff ended up becoming true. So I would say it's the same motto I have now. The motto I have is seek truth through funny, and I was following it back then. I was just trying to figure out what was going on. Back then, I was talking about so much of the stuff I talk about to this day. So when people say they missed the old Sneako, it's like, take some time to look at my content and my message. It's the same exact content. And Aiden's in the chat saying, where does this guy stream? Does he have viewers? Aba and
Yeah, honestly, Sneako is the same. I've been watching Sneako for a couple of years and it's the same. The same personality, the same thing. He's just become smarter, not so much easy to influence. So yeah, I don't know what people are on.
You guys mostly post videos, but you guys have been streaming a lot, pulling a lot. I see you guys like average like 5 to 7K or something like that. And that's a side note. But I would say that, yeah, this was all just about seeking truth through funny. And what was really important about this video and why people resonated with it, I think that has 5 million views or something. You know, it's just a webcam video, original YouTube type content, talking to the photo booth and, you know, slight editing. Mm-hmm. What I touch on here is the hyper socialization that we have now from social media. How hyper self-aware we are from the camera, from the phone, from creating the Sims character, as I said here, or curating an image of who we want to be through Instagram photos and captions rather than who we are. We're the most self-conscious generation of all time and people of all time as a product of the internet and as a product of cameras. And I just realized how inauthentic we became. And so I always wanted my platform to prioritize authenticity in a world now where it's so hard to find that.
Do you?
And that is true. And we have become the system, they indoctrinate us to become slaves to the fucking system, to be consumers, nothing else, not produce anything, not fucking do anything. Just be a consumer, work, waste your money, fucking be in a fucking rat race. That's all.
What do you feel like that version of Sneako was missing in life? What was he looking for? I know you said you were seeking truth through funny, but I'm asking as an individual or maybe as an artist.
Bro, you fucking Abba, you fucking idiot. What he looking for? Freedom, man. We all look for freedom. We don't want to be a part of the system, you stupid fuck. What you looking for?
It's whatever you want to choose. What do you feel like you were searching out for out there when you were making content?
I was searching for truth.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, I was looking for, I just saw so many inconsistencies, hypocrisies. I didn't know where I fit into the world. I grew up extremely mixed race. I still am mixed race, but back then, when I was growing up, most people saw me as Asian. And then as I got older, I looked more light skinned. And I grew up, you know, I was born in New York City. I grew up mostly in New Haven, Connecticut. You know, I grew up, it's a dangerous area. They call it gun wave in New Haven. You know, I grew up in a city with a lot of crime, but I went to a predominantly white WASP school on scholarship. So I grew up around like a lot of rich people with families that worked at Yale University, but we didn't have money. You know, grew up in the 2008 housing crisis. And I was just always kind of just trying to figure out where I fit in. So I've always felt like an outsider. I've always been an outsider. You know, I've never really had a sense of belonging ethnically. I've never been around people and be like, oh, these are my people. Every group, I've always been, I'm an outsider to some extent. You know,
Gotcha.
are you Ethiopian?
Yeah, so I was born in Canada, but I was raised a lot of my young years in Ethiopia. So I kind of have like a bit of a mixture of those two experiences. Yeah.
Oh, this is a good one too. You know, Ball. This is one of my favorites as well.
Yeah, I actually kind of wanted to get into that because this was around early 2022, and this video came out around before. Actually, we might have met just before this point. But I want to just play this video as we transition to the second part. I'm going to just actually keep it like that. And this time, for the folks watching at home, I'll make sure you're able to see. Here you go.
One of my biggest insecurities is that I've never knocked anybody out. I've never been knocked out either, ever. Never woken up with my face on the pavement, circle of people around you laughing. I've been in little fights, but nobody got hurt. So.
Question, at this point, how old are you?
I had just moved to Harlem. This was March 1st, 2020. So I dropped out a year before, and then I finally started making enough money from YouTube to move out of the college dorm and I moved into Harlem. Got a studio apartment on 141st Street. This is Adam Clayton. This is the fucking projects. And it was 2 weeks before the pandemic. So I'm like, finally, I get to have an apartment in Manhattan, which is like, if anybody grew up in the Northeast, like this is like pinnacle. This is achievement right here. Like getting your own spot in Manhattan. And then 2 weeks later, pandemic hit. So it was March 1st, 2020. I was born in 98. I was this 21 years old?
Yeah, and you hadn't started live streaming by this point, right?
No, I was still just strictly making videos.
Okay, all right. We'll keep playing.
So, I'm gay. I don't know how to be a real man. It's not all my fault though. Everyone has their own definitions of what it means to be a real man, and we all fall for it trying to prove ourselves. So many men are confused and scared, but they don't know how to express emotion, so they overcompensate by being loud and homophobic. The fuck are you pointing at, you fag? I tried the whole friendly ally feminist thing, and it didn't work. When I was younger, I looked full Asian.
Mods, keep pinning Aiden's chat.
The small dick stereotype. Girls ignored me, men didn't respect me. I was this angry internet dude for a long time. I was reading the Red Pill, an online advice forum for men. You can't really stoop lower than that. When my sister would bring home her boyfriend, I'd start puffing my chest out, doing push-ups in the kitchen. When I finally got a girlfriend, I'd start eyeing down dudes looking at her. What are you looking at my girl, bro? You looking at my girl? I was that guy. I was that guy for like a really long time. And I still find flakes of that person, because now when I talk about women, everybody in the comments is calling me toxic.
I think so.
Right, so don't you use that to your advantage? Like, you've never used the fuckboy with the heart of gold thing? Like, okay, I'm a fuckboy, but like, oh, you make me understand that, like, oh, women aren't objects. Like, I use that all the time.
Because you're toxic.
Like, I'm like, man, I just be fucking these bitches. It's you. There's something special about you. No, I don't know, man.
You relate, Aba?
Listen, I'm just gonna...
What?
You look like you're related to that a little bit.
Nah, I just think that character is funny to me.
Oh, okay.
I think that character is funny.
But there's a reason we have gender roles. Hold up, before men like big boobies and booty. Those big, infected-looking plastic lips. We're
Yeah, it's funny to Abba because he's a fucking. It's funny to Abba because he can relate. Because. Bro, Abba, honestly, let's be honest, bruv. You didn't have girls when you were younger. Your whole demeanor, the way you wear yourself, you didn't have women when you were younger. That's why you act like all smart now. Because, bro, you are inside, kid. You are not outside. Honestly, bro. Be honest.
simple. Yes, obviously once you get to know someone, you figure out their personality and their star sign, but initial attraction is all physical. For women, initial attraction is all about demeanor, your confidence, the way you carry yourself, your swag. They can sense the fakers. They want a respected man. Trust me, they can see the fakers. A lot of women are delusional. They think they want that feminist ally dude who listens to them and is always nice and agrees with all their beliefs and shit. You know the guy whose profile picture is that overly
Hey, we'll watch
excited-
Mr. Beast after. We'll see what he does.
This face.
Maybe he's gonna get more
This
hippies.
is why you see old ass, ugly rich dudes with smoking hot wives in their 20s. You won't see one sexy dude with an ugly wife. Don't look it up on your phone.
Listen, if you wanna keep a bitch, be the biggest asshole. If you wanna chase a bitch away, be feminine. That's just how it is.
Think of one. Think of one sexy dude with an ugly wife. But you know about Jay-Z and Beyonce. You know about Jeff Bezos and whatever that Hugh Hefner and his.
Okay, I don't mean to pause, but do you still think that's true?
That ugly guys can get with beautiful women, but you don't see the reverse?
Yeah.
That is true, and Abba, shut the fuck up. You're a fucking idiot now. The only reason rich guys with ugly wives is even existing is because of they don't have a prenup. If they had a prenup, they would fucking throw that bitch out of there. They would fucking replace her right out of... In 2 seconds they would replace her, honestly. Bruv, listen. The guy, he got married before he became rich. So, he got the baggage. He got the ugly ass wife. Because, let's be honest, Bill Gates, how the fuck should he get a nice looking wife when he's a nerd? Of course he can get a nice looking wife when he's rich. But when he's a nerd and don't got money, he ain't gonna get that kind of wife. So he got the basic wife. So, now he's rich. If he divorces her to get a second wife, he's gonna lose everything, pay alimony, all this. So that's why he's not getting divorced. But he's gonna cheat. Just look at the Epstein files. All the rich guys cheat because of that, and they keep it down low so that they don't get caught, so that don't lose everything. So Abba, shut up. Your analyze is wrong. You're a fucking hypocrite idiot. You don't know what you're talking about, honestly. Honestly, you're not neutral in your analyze when you analyze stuff, but when it fits you, you analyze it correct. When it doesn't fit you, analyze it wrong. Stop analyzing wrong, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely. At least I know a lot of rich dudes whose wives aren't necessarily like what you would expect for like a hot, attractive woman or
Exactly, because they got married before they were rich.
whatever. It's actually pretty.
Well, you ever seen that metric where it says ultra billionaires like Jeff Bezos, they get like the fake tit, that's their wife. Multi-millionaires get the beautiful model wife. Thousandaires get, you know, yeah, they have the propensity to get to that, but there's definitely an archetype that fits in there. And the overall point is that beautiful women can get with ugly men, but, you know, top tier men oftentimes aren't going to get with an ugly woman the same way.
Yeah, I know the stereotype. I guess I think there's a bit of like a confirmation bias there. Because like you'll see an example that agrees with you, and you're like, see, it must be true. But then if I line up 10 billionaires with wives you are thinking are not that attractive or whatever, or not younger, they don't fucking flip on them, then you'll go like, yeah, but you know, generally speaking. But I digress. This is something, at least now that I've lived a little bit longer, been around more rich people, and in my experience, it's actually
Yeah, but you are not taking into consideration that those men became married before.
more often than not just normal looking people with normal looking people. But I think in the content creation sphere, I think we see a lot of what you're talking about. Like, okay, well, Bill Gates is probably a bad example after the Epstein files.
Yeah.
But Melinda Gates is not exactly a smoke show, okay?
Exactly, Abba. Why the fuck would he fucking be unfaithful if his woman is so hot? Abba, you're a fucking complete retard. Sneako, keep on going. Don't listen to people like Abba. He doesn't know what he's speaking about. You are in the 20s. Abba is probably like 30, 40 years old. He's washed up, bro.
And they were married for a long time, and that is actually generally the norm for a lot of wealthy people. They don't necessarily do the Jeff Bezos route all the time.
Right, but look what happened to Bill Gates, so.
I mean,
Did he give her an STD, allegedly, in my opinion, because he was sleeping with so many girls in the, like, that's...
that's at least my concerns. It sounds like this dude might have, been with some young folks, but we'll get to that. We'll get back to the video for now. All right.
Mansion full of snow bunnies. And look, I understand my audience. It's mostly young dudes looking for some guidance. I didn't really fully comprehend this until I did a show in Germany last month. I didn't even know that I had people in Germany watching my videos, but I did a comedy show and a bunch of people.
Be honest, Aiden, did you copy the J-Mail and the Black Map and Steal My Cheeser collab?
Germans are tall as hell, so we look like a football team, like in a huddle.
And that Aiden Cuffin joke I made for the Robert Kraft commercial?
How do I find my passion? How do I get over depression, anxiety? I'm saying, whatever. I don't know the answer. I don't have the answer. And it dawns on me as they're hanging on to every word I'm saying that I could start a cult right now. If I wanted to start a religion where everybody does whatever, I could be Jesus.
Ooh, you're
That's a scary
weird.
thought to cross your mind. I'm not ready for that power. But so many young men are looking for some guidance and some advice that they don't get from their parents, from their teachers. A lot of men are confused and scared, just like me.
Wait, can you pause real quick?
Lonely internal struggle.
Doesn't it sounds like I'm describing right here, I think I'm 21, describing the need and the what's necessary for the Red Pill movement to arise this year and the next year, 2022. That's when Red Pill really dominated the internet. Right here I'm saying, like, they're lying about COVID. There's an absence of, some masculine leadership in the internet space because things are getting so feminized. Cancel culture was at its peak. That was coming off the Me Too movement. Men were being shamed all the time. It seemed like being naturally masculine was a horrible thing. And so right here I'm like, okay, something is needed.
Sure. I think I share your sentiment that a lot of young men were lost. I mean, even I'm older than you, so I didn't have that same experience with the Red Pill. I had the experience with the movement that came before the Red Pill, which would have been like the pickup artist bodybuilding world. That was what I knew. But I think I share the sentiment with you that men felt lost. I think the reasons we might disagree, but I get where you're coming from, and I think I understand what you're talking about when you're talking about this video at the time.
That's not really taken seriously. For women, it's body image issues, and we care about that. Look, we have fat mannequins now. We didn't have that 5 years ago. We have fat mannequins. We don't want girls making themselves throw up and starving themselves, so we made plus-size models. But think, when's the last time you saw a male plus-size model? Think of one. Don't Google, think of one. It's fucked up how when you're learning how to mature as a man, they'll throw phrases at you like your toxic masculinity, patriarchy, and you're like, isn't this just what you wanted? No one paid attention to me before, and now that I'm mature, I'm pressing you? Men kill themselves 5 times more than women. 80% of homicide victims are men. We will die trying to prove ourselves. It's weird and sad. Like, I'm in my 20s and I think about slapping people for respect on a daily basis. That's insecurity. I'm deeply afraid of somebody calling me a pussy. This is why white boys shoot up schools. It's why black boys join gangs. It's why Asian boys study extra hard all night. It just used to be more simple to become a man. You could work at a factory, come home from work, honey, I'm home, beat your wife, and fall asleep. You're a man. That was life. Now it's a little more confusing. It's like when the porn ends and or like when your laptop goes off and you see, like the screen goes black and then you just see your reflection like in your dick in your hand and you kind of look like an ape and your neck is here and like,
Again? You fell for it again? When will you learn?
You know what's funny, Alba? At this time, I saw your channel was doing really well with reaction videos. I remember in
Honestly, Sneako is funny, bro. He's funny, bro.
this era, I'm like, bro, I need to start making some more money. And my channel, I was only being able to post like 1 or 2 times a week because of the editing and scripting. I'm like, I want to produce more. So I was looking for a preach to my Alba. And so that guy here, Cass, was one, like, I even did some, like, not interviews, but like auditions. There was another guy from Brooklyn. His name is Ash, you know, because I thought it'd be I wanted like a different racial dynamic. And I never was able to find one and get that. But that was, that was my
it's
way.
not easy.
No.
It's not easy. I mean, me and Preach have been working together for a decade. You know, people have no idea how difficult it is to find somebody with values that align with yours and to be able to work. So I can imagine it wasn't easy.
How did you meet Preach?
Through the dance community. So Preach was the guy who'd MC and he danced professionally for a long time. And then I also danced, but I also would do cinematography related work. So I was getting hired a lot for events for my business. And then we worked together on an event. I'd asked him to collab.
Yeah, bro. The dancing. Real tough guys. Now I understand why they get hurt by all this talk about being a badass and treating the woman like shit and all this, because they're the guys who are dancing with them but don't get pussy. They're the guys who are warming them up, but the bad guy is picking them up. I understand it now.
With me on a project because we'd spoken a bunch of times since she happened. And the project went super good, so I just kept inviting him, and then eventually it became a partnership. So it was very, very organically done. I didn't even seek out somebody like that. In fact, Preach was just a feature in one of my first videos that went viral. I had a video that like hit 5-6 million views. And Preach is in that video, but it's a small cameo. And then we were just chopping it up afterwards, and it was kind of happy.
So he's kind of like the Cuffham to your Aiden.
Hey, bro, I don't know streaming shit enough to do that. You can't just drop these references like I know these. I know Aiden Ross like tangentially, like I've seen videos, and I have no idea who Cuffham is.
Oh, okay.
I'm too old for that shit. But
how old are you?
35.
Oh, okay.
35, yeah. The reason why I want to play that video that we just watched is I think it's a good preamble because I think your next transfer goes into some of the red pill phase and self-improvement. And when you have that transition, this is actually a video you did before that, even though you'd already watched some forums. I feel like you didn't.
But you can see it coming, right?
Call
like,
yourself.
Yeah, people say
you can see the preamble,
right? Like it's clear, like watching back here, it's actually this is well organized. You can see why that red pill era happened.
Yeah, there's a through line. You can see and I think one thing that's cool about the way you kind of documented your life is you were very open and. So my description, I wrote a sentence. It's Sneako is openly flawed, self-aware, and arrogant, humble enough for curiosity, and daring enough to take chances. So that's my perception when I watched the first arc of your content creation from kid to about 2020 when you did the video before the red pill, How to Be a Man. You were aware of your own flaws. You may not always have the correct conclusion or whatever, but you could see the thought process. You could see how you got there. You could see your justification, your reasons why. You could see that you try to see things from other people's perspectives to a degree. And like it makes sense how you ended up in the red pill era afterwards. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So
as we have said, here we go.
Is
this hippie time?
The question I would ask you first, what did the red pill give you that you didn't have before?
I think more. Well, I think men at the time, and in these videos you're showing, men on the internet especially were living in a liberal-dominated, woke-dominated, like men had to live in this kind of guilty, you know, white people say, are like, I'm one of the good ones, or like white boys will say, can a white boy catch a vibe? It was kind of that same thing with men. It was like, hey, I'm not one of those misogynist, horrible men, and gave men the opportunity to not live in a guilty place.
Right. In the era of like, you know, men are trash and there was all this
exactly.
stuff.
I have a really good video called Are Men Trash where I was asking, that one took so long to make. It was a great street interview about that specifically,
Yeah. When you went from how you were before and then you discovered the red pill content, really started assimilating a lot of it.
Bro, what is this? Abba, is this interrogation or something, man? Can you not have a conversation, bro? Who are you? Are you fucking the shrink? Who are you? Are you the cops? Sneako, he's a good guy. he's taking his time to answer you all this question, but who the fuck are you for you to ask him all these kind of questions, this and that, and who the fuck and what the fuck, bro? Honestly, I don't like Abba, not that much. Sometimes he's good, but sometimes, man, he's feeling himself too much.
It really started to incorporate into your worldview. How do you feel like you changed?
Well, one thing that I have been very public about is that I was always consuming Red Pill content, and I was just kind of afraid to talk about it on YouTube because of how liberal dominated it was. But I was reading the Red Pill subreddit. It was deleted now. All those subreddits like the Donald and all that stuff on Reddit that was informational all got taken down. I was on 4chan growing up, like 8th, 9th grade. I remember got suspended for looking at 4chan in library. So I was hyper aware of this stuff. I even read that book by Mystery. I don't know if you know this guy.
Yeah, I know that.
Pickup artist.
The pickup artist, yeah.
Yeah, pickup artist. He would talk about peacocking, where he would wear like big feathered hats to try to attack, like this goofy stuff. But I was hyper aware of Red Pill ideology my whole teenage years. But I just hadn't really. It was just something I was interested in, but I didn't really adopt it.
Hold that thought 2 seconds. Hold that.
Yeah.
Hold that thought 2 seconds.
Where's he going? Okay, there he goes. Hey, Alba's chat. Aiden, how's this going so far? Is this pre-hit piece? What do you think? You've really never seen this guy before? You never seen him before? What is he doing? Is he grabbing a costume?
I actually picked one of these up because I'm actually doing a project on the pickup artist community, and so I was actually looking for that fucking dumb hat that he normally wears.
Yeah.
And this is the closest thing I could find.
That's it. Yeah, I'll show them who.
It's even worse than this one. It was larger up here. It looked like a he looked like a, I don't know what it was, but I know exactly the kind of content you're talking about. So
yeah, that is the
you're
hat.
saying you
Yeah.
It took me a hot minute to find it. Okay. From your perspective, you feel like you didn't change. Okay, you answered that you were already consuming some of it, and that it was already kind of. But how do you feel like? I feel like you had a quite drastic change as you watched more of the Red Pill stuff, and that you could see how you got there, but it definitely got amped up. So I'm asking you, what change did you see?
It was COVID pandemic, because as soon as it happened, that was one of the reasons I got banned. Was I didn't get the COVID vaccine, and I was really against the lockdowns. I was so critical how it didn't make sense. Everything was flagged and taken down at the time. They put a COVID warning beneath everything, and as soon as COVID happened, I said they're going to use this in order to sell vaccines.
Listen, the Red Pill. You know why it happened? It happened because people didn't have anywhere else to go. You know, everything got pushed down people's throat. Everything was forced into people's lives. Bruv, people could not exist. You had to go with the flow or somehow get put in the box with extremists because you don't have similar views on something. That's why the Red Pill happened. And it's socially engineered. Whoever just know anything about anything knows that it is a social engineered thing. So yeah, bro. Abba, he's playing dumb, bro. And Sneako, he knows it too, but yeah, bro, Abba, what is this? What is interrogation? What? Sneako don't need to answer to nobody, bro. The fuck?
And I didn't get it. And on the time, YouTube, you weren't supposed to say that. And so seeing that happen, seeing us lock us inside, and then everybody went outside to protest George Floyd, I'm like, this is very obvious control mechanism. I started to get angry. And they call it red pill rage. Like, once you really start waking up, I did get red pill rage post-pandemic.
So you felt like most of the change that you experienced was in relation to COVID. It wasn't in relation to
it was build up.
Your feelings about the opposite sex, about dating, about the world. Like, at least when I saw you, yes, there was definitely an aspect where you're talking about some of the global stuff and some of the COVID-related things, but there's definitely a lot of it in relation to dating dynamics. You didn't feel like there was actual change there as you got into your Red Pill arc?
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to Patrice for years. He's my favorite. He's like your favorite comedian of all time too, right?
Yeah, I actually did have Patrice on my notes here. Yeah,
Patrice O'Neal's the GOAT. And yeah, that's part of it. But like the real catalyst was the pandemic, was the lockdown. Like this was just, I had enough. And then everything that I was not talking about, I'm like, I'm going to go balls to the wall now. I wanted to fight back.
Got you. Did you feel like you had a disdain for some liberal principles or the way you felt liberals were operating at the time?
Yeah, because liberals operate between, you're liberal, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so liberals operate. And my chat was talking about this yesterday. I think liberals have proven more consistency, especially you see the way that the MAGA people and Trump have switched up about Epstein. It went from no new wars and let's release the Epstein files to if you want the Epstein files released, we don't want your support. And also war is good and Iran and Venezuela should be bombed more. But liberals operate from a place of, I think, sympathy. But they don't see it on a grand scale, right? So I think like one of the major
Liberals are the worst. Honestly, liberals are the worst, bro. Bro, American liberals, let's be honest. We are talking about the American system, and American liberals are the worst. They say one thing, do a totally different thing. They're not normal. The problem about liberals in America, it's a lot of things is under one umbrella, you know? So when you say a liberal, then you say a whole group of everybody with who's a part of different groups, you know? So yeah, liberals from America, they're crazy, bro. Also the other side, the conservatives in America, they're also crazy. It, the spectre in America, there's no middle ground. It's only it's extreme on both ends.
Major issues that separates liberals and conservatives, it's really a lot of it's slop, but it's like transgenders, I think is a good example. Conservatives are like, okay, this is harmful because they have one of the highest suicide rates of any demographic. Liberals are like, trans people should be able to exist. They don't mean any harm. They're not hurting people. But what I believe is that, okay, I love everyone and I care about these people. What we should tell them is that this is a harmful ideology. Hormones and, you know, trying to change their existence is not the solution to their problem. Statistically, we know that like this is a delusion. So I think it's operating from a place of love. Liberals are thinking, okay, well, we should just allow them to exist and be happy. So I think it's addressing the problem, but it's not providing the correct solution to it.
Exactly, we're not handling the problem. What happened in their life that is so traumatic, or what social engineering was at play to habilitate that kind of response from a person. That's what we should be looking at. Not, yeah, not are you for it or against it. We should be loving and caring and understand why, what happened in this person's life to them to choose these things. We also have to be understandable that there is some social, environmental plays. Honestly, YouTube, TikTok, who knows? Maybe these kids, they saw something, their algorithm changed, so they became like that, you know? So who knows? A lot of things influence people.
Well, I think the way you're framing it, if you're going to make the example of liberals, the person who wants to be inclusive of trans people, then the conservatives, the ones like, we have to tell you the truth. And that's one version of it. But the other version of it is like, you know, the conservatives who say we don't accept you in our society because we feel like you're bad for us. And then there's the liberal who's like, listen, you're very different from me, but I still accept you in this community. And if you're very honest, if you go to countries that are very, very conservative, they're not actually open to a lot of people who are drastically different than them in their cultural norms. Conservatism, in the way that you describe it, isn't necessarily the way conservatism manifests in a lot of places.
Yeah.
And also, as an artist, you probably know this too, but like conservative areas are not exactly the most embracing of art. In fact, you and your own community, how often do you hear art is gay, art is gay, art is gay, right? How many times do you hear people just bemoan music and every other freedom of expression, but like you will make projects that they would consider really fucking gay? Is that a great form of conservatism? It's liberals
that's a
who
great point.
look at what you make. It's liberals who open up the museums and fund them, the ones that you go to. It's liberals who make the funding happen for the movies that you want to be able to do. In fact, pretty much most of the things that you think are most important.
Wait. Ah, but that's a lie. That's a lie. Wait. We need to check this back for a second. What are we on? We have 40. Wait, Abba is lying.
Liberal who's like, listen, you're very different from me, but I still accept you in this community. And if you're very honest, if you go to countries that are very, very conservative, they're not actually open to a lot of people who are drastically different than them in their cultural norms. Conservatism, in the way that you describe it, isn't necessarily the way conservatism manifests in a lot of places.
Yeah.
And also, as an artist, you probably know this too, but like conservative areas are not exactly the most embracing of art. In fact,
That's a lie. That's a lie. Conservatives does love art, just not the retarded art where you cut up a horse and then show it, or put goldfish in a blender and then cut them up. Yeah, so that's not art. That's just animal cruelty. So, Abba, you don't know what you're talking about. That's just retarded. Bro, these talking points, they're so childish, retarded. I don't, bro, just stop yourself.
You and your own community, guess how often do you hear art is gay, art is gay, art is gay, right? How many times do you hear people just bemoan music and every other freedom of expression, but like you will make projects that they would consider really fucking gay? Is that a great form of conservatism? It's
Yeah,
liberals
that's a
who
great point.
look at what you make. It's liberals who open up the museums and fund them, the ones that you go to.
No, that's not true. It's not liberals who make museums. Why the fuck would you even say that? Yeah, liberals make fucking weird ass museums, but national museums is not made by liberals or Republican or Democrats or uh, conservatives. It's a national project, you stupid fucking idiot. Fuck, bruv.
It's liberals who make the funding happen for the movies that you want to be able to do. In fact, pretty much most of the things that you think are most important to you in life are done by people who have a liberal mindset in terms of allowing that
100%
kind of
true.
expression and encouraging.
The only reason it's liberal in that kind of work is because most of them are getting through by state funding and state grants and all of this shit, so there are a lot state funding done to artists because they're shit as artists and can't sell their shit because it's shit. Honestly, let's be honest. So they get state grants and theater. Those guys would do theater, they get funding, and that's why it's liberal. Honestly, if they made good enough shit, they wouldn't be liberal. They would be the opposite side because they made a lot of money. That's the stupid thing. Aber shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And like a lot of my chat, they're spamming me now, like arty farty, art is gay, art is gay. I love art. That is the reason I think I'm here. No, that's 100% true. Conservatives don't make really good art. Like that's 100%. You can't really name that many. There was one guy, he started painting, and then look what he did to the world. So it's like that's one example of he wasn't accepted for his art, and then he ended up invading Poland. So yeah,
Ended up becoming very conservative.
yeah, that is, you're 100% right. 100% right. Art is at the forefront, and there's contradictions, and art really and conservatism don't overlap. And the overlap as well is that conservatives in America will be like, okay, we can't be tolerant of these things, we can't be tolerant of transgenderism, but at the same time, America does pride itself on democracy, on freedom. Like what is it to be in the West, to be an American? It's freedom. You're allowing ideology. So if you allow freedom, then you also allow people to do pride parades. Then you also allow this to happen. So they say America's a Christian nation, but also we need freedom. They say Islam is not compatible in the West, but then, so how is Christianity coexist with freedom? Because Christianity has almost the same restrictions as Islam. So 100%, it's there's
I'm not saying what is the right answer. If you just ask me the kind of society where I feel most free living in, it's going to be a liberal one. I say this all the time. I love Ethiopia. The reason why I wouldn't live there is that me doing the kind of work that I do, I don't think I'd ever be safe. That's just a reality. It's a reality in a lot of traditionally conservative places. Like you're allowed to say things to a certain extreme, and then beyond that, like they will use the governmental powers to come after you, and that is very normal. If you want places that you have the most amount of freedom to say what you will against the powers that be, it's going to be liberal societies who really value the ideas of freedom. And
that's not true. Because in liberal societies, let's just watch what liberal societies do to whistleblowers. Liberal societies to whistleblowers, they threw them all in jail. That is what liberal societies do. I'm not saying dictative societies are better. They probably kill them or send them to exile, but let's not glorify shit. Shit is shit, okay? So this liberal society, it's not true. Nowhere in the world is it liberal society. So Abba, shut the fuck up. Stop fucking lying. Stop being wrong in your analyze. When you analyze things, be neutral and have critical thinking. And yeah, it's pretty easy, Abba. You should try it.
independence in that regards. So, I understand in a lot of circles people love to be like the trans issue. Like trans issue is so minor.
It is.
Like I've gotten such fatigue on the trans issue because I'm like, bro, we already won on that topic. They lost the whole sports angle. They lost a lot of this stuff. I feel like it's almost pointless now to even mention it because it's like on every front. The bathroom stuff, they didn't get that. They didn't get the sports. They didn't get the 99% of the issues that they. So like when people bring up trans stuff to me, I'm like, that was like 2018, 2019 when it was relevant. You feel like it's still relevant today?
Well, it's relevant because people like Matt Walsh are talking about transgenderism instead of the Epstein list. It's like, I think this is used as a populist idea. Like Mamdani, I think he won the liberals over by jumping up and down at the pride parades and pretending he cares about trans people. Like it's smart in order to gain support. But like overall, it is such a minor issue. And same thing, conservatives will do the same thing. Like Michael Knowles will have Clavicular on and be like, what about these transgenders? And it's like, dude, this is not cool. Like nobody thinks this is important to discuss anymore. It doesn't, garner the same reaction as it once did. It is minor, and we have 100% focused on it too much in previous years. It's time to move on.
Yeah. I'm going to, just folks said that you were a little bit too quiet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add some gain to this because I don't think it's picking up that well. So I'm just going to do that real fast for the desktop audio. Hopefully it works. So give me a second, chat. I'll make the adjustment. I think I have advanced audio properties. I can add some gain in. Let's see. I'll put like 4 dBs. All right. Let's see if that works. Desktop audio. Can you try talking again for a second?
Test talk. And chat, I'm going to release the main channel video tomorrow at 3 p.m. Not today. I think it's already too late. I want to post it at 3. So it's just a song released tomorrow on the main channel.
Okay, we're gonna keep going from here. I think that should be fine. So next part I want to do, just in terms of questions I want to ask. Oh yes. So I'm asking this again. This is not a gotcha. I
already know what's coming. It's the cuck swinger thing.
Yeah, it's good because I think I remember during my research phase that there was some aspect of it where you felt like liberalism might have a liberal mindset might have pushed you to do that. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, New York. It was. I wanted to. I've talked about this so many times.
Let's be honest. Sneako, he was fucking liberal. He was fucking liberal before he became red pill. He was blue pill. He was hardcore blue pill. So that's the thing with America. It's always extreme. There's no middle ground, America is always either the left or the right. There is not critical thinking at all. Either you eat this shit or you eat the other shit. You gotta eat shit in America. I don't know why.
Very degenerate back in my early 20s and teens. I wanted to have a bunch of threesomes. That was something that I was, like, to be honest, I was kind of addicted. I loved having threesomes with women, and then it was making, like, my girlfriends upset. And so she's like, okay, what if we do a couple swap? And then did that, hated it, and just stopped. But yeah. But, realizing that, that didn't really, it wasn't a huge deal. I joked about it on that podcast with Agent and Low, because I thought it was funny because I'm talking about something that, was funny because it was like, how much I hated it. But you've seen, like, to this day and stuff, people will bring that up for
honestly, I remember that time, and let's be honest, Sneako, in that time, he was, in the start, he was talking about it like it was a good time for him. And like it was something people should do to get clips and all that. But yeah, in the start, he promoted that shit. He was into that shit. He promoted that shit. Then after he became a laughing stock, he changed the rhythm. But let's be honest, that is the biggest fail ever Sneako did. That was the threesome, cocking or whatever it's called. That shit sneaks fuck, bro. You can't do that shit, bro.
Attack vector, but it's like, I'm just an honest person. I'm not able to. I didn't need to tell that story. Obviously, it's going to be harmful to my reputation and stuff. But I talked about it because it was real. It happened, and like maybe somebody can learn from that. Especially, I was listening to Patrice a lot. Patrice was like red pilled, and he was talking about that the couple swaps and everything. But yeah, I don't obviously don't do that, and wait till marriage. But I got over that too. Like I used to be kind of a sex addict, bro. I was like, who was addicted to threesomes? That's something that's and again, like people talk about that when liberalism degeneracy is allowed and you're sleeping around a lot, then you're gonna be doing threesomes, and then you end up swapping with the couple, and you're like, what the fuck? Like I hate this. And so that was kind of a wake up call. Like let me stop wasting time on this and focus on what's important.
So how do you feel like liberalism plays into that? How do you feel like liberalism?
Because everything's tolerated. Like because everything's allowed, And, you know, in a society where that's frowned upon, I wouldn't have felt like that was a normal thing to do.
Well, okay.
Okay, let's be honest. The hookup culture, it is liberalism. The hookup culture Abba was talking about, he came into and all of this shit, and that's his time, and he was before the red pill and blue pill. The hookup culture was liberal. Let's be frank. It wasn't red pill, it was liberal. The hookup culture was about, yeah, just fucking. And that's what liberalism is, just fucking. So Sneako is right. It's ultra liberalism that makes you do crazy shit.
In my okay, so here's an example. Have you, would you say that the Middle East is mostly conservative?
Yeah, besides Tel Aviv.
So-
They say that Israel or Tel Aviv is the gayest city in
Right.
the world. Times of Israel posted that.
Fair, but one might go to Dubai and poop on a girl, right? It's very frowned upon, but the people who have wealth and who have the ability to have the privacy engage in the debauchery that they want to. Okay, and the reason why I'm bringing that up is I think the only difference between the conservative and the liberal side is yes, there may be a frowned upon nature to it, but a lot of the debauchery that you're describing happens just doesn't happen in the open.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but is it conservative? Because how much is conservative and how much is culture? Because over there, the conservative and the liberal, it's measured on totally different scales than in America, and so is in different countries in Europe. And but that doesn't make sense what you're saying. Liberalism can look totally different from country to country, from culture to culture. So, yeah, that doesn't make sense.
that is a
big
major
difference-
difference. Like a pride parade is a public display. Like, look at what we're celebrating. That's stuff that happens between, you know, people on boats and stuff and Instagram models. This is a small subsect, is not representative of the Middle East, and is also stuff that, like, if that was publicized, people would definitely stop it. This only known because Instagram models fly and do that. That's completely different than a pride parade in Tel Aviv, where the Times of Israel says they're the gayest city in the world.
I just think you're underestimating maybe a little bit how often or how much.
It's funny when Abba, he's a guy, he only faces the camera, but when he get a little pushback, like he's getting pushback from Sneako right now, he's getting frustrated. You can see it on him. He's getting frustrated. He's sitting and tripping. Why are you tripping, bro?
It happens.
Undercover sex.
But that's the point.
or
Undercover.
sex parties.
That's the point. Undercover compared to public display on the streets. That's my point.
But I guess in my head, I'm like, as someone who wants to seek truth through funny, why do you prefer the principles of society that has debauchery, maybe not to the same level, maybe a bit less, but just does it in hiding versus one that's just open about it?
Because
why do you feel like
doing it in
yeah,
hiding
right?
is acknowledging that it's wrong and that's not something that you should do, but also acknowledging that humans are imperfect and we all have the propensity to sin and we will sin. That's what everything is a test here. We know that we are imperfect and that we're, you know, some people are going to drink, some people are going to smoke. Like, we shouldn't do it, but doing it in hiding proves and is admittance of shame. Where public pride parades that is accepting and encouraging and celebrating it. There's 100% a difference. Like, sin should be, if you're going to sin, keep it in private and don't try to encourage more people to do it.
Well, when I think of pride parade personally, it's just like, if this is something you identify with and you want to celebrate that. Like, my idea of an ideal society is not one where we like, yo, dude.
Yeah, that's where it's wrong. Aber that is where you are a extremist. Abba is an extremist, liberal extremist. Bruv, little kids are there. People in those parades are wearing all kinds of stuff. It's not why that's not normal. Even if it was straight people, it isn't normal. Even if it's, I don't know, lesbian shit, it isn't normal. Bro, the problem is it's forced down upon everybody. Listen, whatever you do in your private life, do it. Nobody fucking cares what the fuck you do. But don't push it on me and don't push it down my throat. That's where the line is. And that is the problem with Abba and these kind of people. They don't understand it. Live your life. I don't want to live your life. You don't want to live my life. Adios, my friend. Finish.
hey, you're not gay. I'm gonna try to encourage you to be gay. Mine is just like, if you're gay, then do your thing. I don't really care how you manifest it.
I mean,
the
but
same way, if you're Puerto Rican or if you're Haitian, you want to manifest your identity, your nationality, your sexuality. I just don't care.
right, but those are different. We shouldn't celebrate things that aren't productive, right? We should celebrate, like, why is there even a parade? Like, they didn't accomplish anything. Why are we celebrating losers? Like, I'm not calling all gay people losers, but I'm saying they didn't do it. Like, you're celebrating people that are just being degenerate. This is not something that's worthy of a trophy. It's like you're gay, so congrats. That doesn't make sense. We should celebrate achievement.
When we celebrate.
Exactly. Why the fuck? What is it that to celebrate? Whether somewhere winning a war, whether somewhere freeing some people from oppression. What did they do to be celebrated? And okay, you're being celebrated. But what the fuck do you have to be butt-ass naked? The fuck?
We celebrate for a variety of reasons. Maybe we're celebrating the progress we've made. You have to remember, being openly gay and not being fucking beaten in the streets where it's legal was a thing. And I think it's a great thing that we live in a society not only where now it's legalized and people can be open to be themselves, but beyond that, we're going from not just tolerance and we're going to a certain level of acceptance. And I think that's an awesome thing.
Sure.
Where I have someone next to me and I genuinely don't tolerate them, I accept them. I don't care if they're gay. And I think what parades do, not in a huge way, but in incremental fashion, is it's just a celebration with people who may be different than you or maybe the same, and you're open, and the society will set up police structures to make sure it's safe. There'll be people funding it, working together to celebrate this. And it's not to say, oh, gayness is the best or whatever. It's just...
Yeah, but it's going far. I mean, look, I see on Fifth Avenue.
Okay, fine. Why don't the straight people get a parade then? They're the majority. Why don't they get a parade for being so inclusive of everybody? Why the fuck don't we get a fucking celebration? Give us a fucking celebration, the straight people, the fuck?
I live in New York City. There's like...
Who are fucking tolerating every fucking shit, man.
They have dick balloons everywhere. You got people dressed up in like dog outfits crawling on all fours. You got people like, they're doing it like in front of children. This is a public display on Fifth, like in the middle of the city, right? Kids shouldn't see that stuff, like people dressing like adults half naked. And also, I don't think it's progress, because if we acknowledge what being gay is, being gay relationships are the absence of progression because they can't have children. So it's celebrating sex that is just used for degenerate reasons and not for progression of society. Also, these people, trans, have some of the highest suicide rates of any demographic in the world. So this is the opposite. You're celebrating what I think is destructive, especially if you acknowledge that this thing is harmful, that a lot of these people are depressed, that they need meds in order to operate, they need to get surgeries in order to exist. We should celebrate humans that don't need exterior factors to feel comfortable and feel happy.
Well, when I think of pride and whatever's involved with that, when I think of celebrating, I think you celebrate like achievement or what's the best. I think it's also just to celebrate things that we're a society that, you may not be the ideal citizen in most people's heads or whatever the fuck it is, but we're inclusive and we embrace you and we're happy to have you.
I mean,
I think that's an okay thing to have.
I don't know if it's worth celebrating. Like, there's other people who are...
Yeah, fine, we're inclusive, we're the straight people, we include everybody, we have no problem, we have to have the celebration. Finish. We are the one to be celebrated.
Excluded from society, like weirdos, autists, school shooters, like freaks and stuff. Like, do they get a celebration? My point is, we should celebrate achievement. Two men sleeping together is not an achievement. A couple swap is not an achievement. Being a cuck is not an achievement. It's just something that, but it's not like woo. Like I just want to live in a place where like real success is celebrated.
Do you think it's an achievement to have a society that's embracing people who are very drastically different and tries to provide safety for all of them, despite the differences that they may have politically or socially?
No.
It depends. Is it a threat for the society or is it not a threat for the society?
I don't think that's worth of celebration. Like, I can understand living in a tolerant place, but I don't think that that's worthy of a crowd applauding. No.
You don't think tolerance and acceptance of different people is worth celebrating?
No. I think achievement.
But isn't that one of the very things that you love about America? It's the freedom of religion, the idea that people from different nationalities, different backgrounds come together to make this booming economy and booming society that has so many differences, but at least coalesce underneath this one label that kind of guides you guys and you guys feel safe. Like, isn't that an amazing thing that you guys have these people who grew up in maybe war-torn spots or places where they weren't safe and persecuted, and they come to a place where it doesn't matter what they look like or where the fuck it is, they're going to take you in, Muslim, whatever it is? Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about, Aba? Aba, it's America, bro. Are you fucking crazy? It's made on oppression. It's the nation of oppression. Bro, they cannot even make the cities run. They have to import people from all over the world all the time. Bro, Aba is honestly, bro. Aba, you're fucking retard, bro. You're trying to fucking sound so smart. You ain't that smart. Listen, bro. Why do you liberal people need to import immigrants? I don't have anything against immigrants, but America is made up by immigrants. America is built by immigrants and slaves, honestly. And there is a reason, because the liberal life and the way they live in America and the West, they don't produce, they don't live normal, they don't get children, normal families, they don't have family values anymore. So, but your life philosophy, it doesn't work, my friend. There's no society after a couple of generations. The fuck?
Yeah, but once those people
In Abba's mind, it's normal. It's in Abba's mind. He liked the villagers, like in the Amazons, where everybody fucked the one woman, and everybody in the all the males in the village, they are the father, and nobody takes really care of the kids, and they become like animals and all of this. This is Abba's ideal life, liberal life. This is how Abba wanna live.
like if you're an immigrant and you come into this country or something, you make something, you do something, and you make the world a better place, then the public should acknowledge that and be like, that you used tolerance or you used immigration, you used the American dream to create something amazing. Then people should acknowledge it and it inspires others to do the same. Celebration is only useful is if it inspires, right? So if you're using this, and like say you create a great piece of art. For example, Hitler, he created paintings that weren't accepted. It wasn't celebrated. He got angry, right? If he made really great art and the public celebrated it, maybe he wouldn't have taken over the world or tried to. So I think that
I disagree that that's the purpose. Sometimes you celebrate the fact that you have a freedom that didn't always exist. And that's what we're celebrating. We shouldn't take our current state for granted, because there was a time when people didn't have these abilities. Like, even when we have things like Remembrance Day, it's like it's a memorial, but it's also like an honoring of the past and the fact that people died for the very freedoms that we have. And we're paying homage to that. And we're celebrating and we're showing out for this. We're saying, hey, we want to be out here and open because our forebears.
What freedoms, bro? What are you talking about, man? Your fucking grandparents had more freedom than you, man. You're fucking crazy, man. Listen, you are paying property taxes. You are fucking a slave of the system. You are economically slave. You are in so many different ways a slave. Bruv. But shut up, man. Just shut up, man. You ain't that smart. You're a liberal fucking extremist. Nothing else.
The people who came before us died and never.
And again, liberal extremist and conservative extremist, they're both the same shit. It's shit.
Had this chance. And I think we shouldn't take for granted how much privilege we have living in these open societies. So, but I hear your perspective in regards to why you think shame might be good in some circumstances. I just also, I mean, who needs an excuse to party? But you know what I'm saying? That's me. I like stuff like that. I don't want to stay on this point too long, because this actually wasn't the point of this whole section, but we can come back.
Honestly, what privilege do you have, Abba? What privilege? You live in the West. As far as I know, you're not married. You don't have kids. You're pushing 40, 50. Bro, what privilege? What are you even talking about? What privilege? Honestly, people like Abba is the problem. Sneako, he's on the right path. He's finding the middle ground. He can look. This is not the correct. This is not the correct. There is a middle ground. This is the right way. But Abba, he's on the extremist shit. Abba, just keep on dancing.
This later. I want to kind of transition because you ended up moving on from the red pill and finding your place in Islam.
Which, yeah, I remember you thought that was a grift for a while, but
Did you just see Abba's face? He didn't like that. He didn't like that Sneako found Islam. Let's hear Abba.
think that now people see, there's no benefit. I was talking about that before you came on. It's like, For 2 days ago on stream, I ordered baby back ribs and I didn't know that they were pork. And I spit it out and that gets like fucking 7 million views. And like, oh, he's a grifter. It's like, are you really breaking it down? Why would I grift Islam? Like, what are the benefits of pretending to believe in God? I don't see what, because
Okay.
right, I'm on kick. I don't take a gambling deal.
Go
ahead.
So why do you think Andrew Tate did it?
Yeah, I don't want to speak on his faith and everything. I want to hope that he's doing it for the right.
Andrew Tate, nobody know why he did it. Maybe in the second he got guided. After that, God, he saw something in him that he didn't like, so he stopped guiding him. We don't know, but we are definitely sure that he is definitely not guided anymore, because all he's doing is wrong choices. So Abba, and why the fuck do Sneako have to fucking answer for Andrew Tate? The fuck is up with you, Abba? Abba, you got a fucking Abba, honestly, you're fucking... Abba, shut the fuck up. Sneako don't need to answer for shit about Andrew Tate. Go fucking ask Andrew Tate that shit.
Reasons. You know, if he's still a Muslim like he says, and I hope he is, and I think he is, then I hope it was genuine, and I wish the best of success to him.
Do you believe it's genuine when you see his behavior?
I think that there is some genuine aspect to it, I think at some point, but I think he's straight off the deen, and what we could do as Muslims is try to guide him in the right direction. You know, trying to overly, nitpick and everything. Like, I criticized him when he took the gambling deal because that goes against the whole escape the matrix. He was criticizing gambling for years. He said like how it's the slave mind, and then he starts promoting it. He's called everyone broke, and then if you're so rich and a billionaire, why would you take a gambling deal? So that stuff I'll point out for sure that's inconsistent. But if I'm going to go on here and say, oh, Tate's grifting this for Dubai connections or UAE and stuff like that, that's just going to create a more bitter taste, and we know how influential he is. It's going to be bad for the Ummah, and it's going to be bad for his own personal deen. So any differences that I have with him aside, I want the best for him as a Muslim.
Okay, so I want you to steelman. So there's actually a question that a viewer had, and they said, if you had to steelman the reason why people believe that some folks grift to Islam, what would be the steelman that you could offer? So if you had to be them, and they're saying, okay, like, what do you think are some actual valid reasons from your perspective?
I don't see any. I don't, because
none.
No, especially as a content creator from my position. I don't. It's an American content creator. I stream on YouTube and Kick. There's literally no monetary benefits. No. And even fame-wise, audience benefits, no. There's so much propaganda in America against Muslims. You grew up with that, right? Or you grew up in Canada, but still, Canada felt the same thing, post-9/11 hysteria. There's literally no benefit to it.
Everybody knows there's no benefit. No benefit. If you're real and not just faking it to get a little clout, but you're gonna get a little clout and all the clout is gonna go away as soon as people find out you're like fake, like some people, like Tate. So there's no fucking anything to gain by it. And now Abba is gonna say something and trying to be smart.
I distinctly remember in 2022, everybody in the red pill would just be like, man, Christians are so weak. Christians are whack, bro. They just let themselves be laughed at. What jokesters? But Muslims...
It's true. Just look at the Epstein fucking files, you fucking idiot. Why are you fucking mad at Muslims for fucking being honest and saying to you shit is shit? And you, like a good guy, you are fucking there like, yeah, master, we're gonna do whatever you say. Shut up, fucking Abba. Abba, you're a fucking weirdo. Honestly, Abba, honestly, you're a fucking weirdo.
Different. Muslims don't play about their religion. They serious about their shit. It was almost like this veneer of masculinity offered because there was a sense of...
Yeah, because Christians play with their religion. The fuck, bruv? Where the fuck have you been living?
Authority to Islam. Now, that's my claim. Do you agree that that was a thing at that time?
Yeah.
So when you ask me, why would anyone want to do that? Well, there's a few different reasons. I felt as though there was quite a lot of overlap between some of the red pill talking points and a lot of the Islamic ones that people would want to reference. And then there was this air of like, I'm a red pill dual, I'm Muslim. And like red pills all the time would talk about, I want multiple wives. And when they use justifications, why? Islam does it. That's what they say. It's normalized. In fact, that's probably one of the main reasons I would hear that being brought up in red pill discussions, because red pillers would not stop talking about having multiple wives. And who does that more than Muslims? So there's definitely a reason to.
Christianity do not prohibit any man against having multiple wives. So Abba, What the fuck are you talking about? Christianity and Islam is totally. They both say you can have multiple wives. So I don't know why Abba he's crying like a little girl.
Say that you were a Muslim or there was a benefit to it, it added an air of legitimacy and authority to the red pill, which didn't have that, in my opinion.
Okay. But most Muslims disagree with that sentiment and say, like, 80% of Muslims don't even have multiple wives. This is super small. And if you speak to Muslims around the world, when they focus on the 4 wives thing, they realize just how belittling that is to what's in the Quran or what Islamic faith is about. It's like such a small aspect, and it's such a minor part of the Quran that, fixating that as a talking point is unnecessary, and categorizes Islam as like, it's just not, it's not beneficial.
I agree. I 100% agree, but I don't think the red pillars who were talking about Islam all the time were being genuine. And I don't think they were representing Islam in a good way, but they would constantly reference it all the time. Mm-hmm. And look, we don't have to name.
Honestly, why are we only talking about red pills? What about blue pills? Blue pills? Because, yeah, red pills are fucking retarded. But what about blue pills? Why the fuck are they not retarded?
Anybody's name, but like there are people in the community who will talk about having multiple wives. They won't really talk about religion ever, except if it's to talk about the having 9 wives or whatever the fuck it is. So, do I think Islam is about that? No, but there's no doubt that the veneer or the appearance of it was definitely something they used.
Yeah, I think Tate just tweeted about that again, about something about 4 wives, literally like yesterday.
Correct. Yeah. And he would, and I distinctly remember reading so many tweets. And the reason why that shit would annoy me is that even though I'm not religious myself, there was an appreciation I had for people who were genuinely of faith. And it felt like whenever I hear red pillars mention Islam, it was always in this very shallow way so they can fuck a bunch of women. So Islam might not be about that, but that's what red pillars made it about. And that's why a lot of dudes said they wanted to convert so they can get the 9 wives and live their debaucherous life in a way that's holy and righteous. Mm-hmm. That's what it felt.
I think that's since been, that's a valid point. But since then, I think that's been pushed back so much. That's been debunked. So many Muslims disagree with that. I don't think that there's support for that or anybody accepts that.
Yeah, I would agree that I think now that whole talking point is gone. You don't hear people talk about Christianity the same way they were back then. But you tried this transition, and I talked about this in private, but you told me, and I've seen you talk about this in public before, that your transition towards Islam, where people are saying it's not genuine, actually came from something that happened much earlier too, in relation to, I believe it's Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Right. So my first question is, how did Malcolm X play a role in your faith journey?
So maybe, I don't know if you have this tweet up in your doc, but I want to pull this up. This is from, I think, 2013. I tweeted this. So I read, let's explain the story now. I read the Malcolm X autobiography when I was about 11 or 12 years old, maybe 10. My dad gave me that book, and I love the cover of it. The cover looks really dope. And Malcolm X was a pimp. Malcolm X was a criminal. He was a drug dealer. He grew up.
His name was Red, right?
Yeah, Detroit Red. And because he had red hair, he was also mixed too, so I related to that a bit. Like he grew up with red hair, so he was already. But his father was a black nationalist and was speaking up against the KKK, and I think he was murdered by the KKK's father, and they burned some of his house down when he was a little kid. So he grew up with a lot of hatred towards white people in his heart, and you can understand why. Like his story is just like you completely get why he had that anger, but he reverted to Islam. Well, the Nation of Islam in jail, and when he was in jail, he became educated, and he started dressing differently. He started speaking differently. He upgraded him. He ascended. And no longer was he like this pimp and, dyeing his hair, or not dyeing his hair because I have blonde hair, but he was straightening his hair to try to make it seem like it was, try to fit in with white people. He grew it the way it naturally was. He read the dictionary. He became like Heisen right now. And he became somebody that was really well respected, well spoken, and a great speaker. Then there's the final journey of his arc, like, because the Nation of Islam is somewhat cultish. I don't want to disrespect them, but they do somewhat worship Elijah Muhammad, who they say is a false prophet. In Islam, we don't believe in Elijah Muhammad. This is has nothing to do with Islam. He went to Mecca, and during that, he went to Hajj. And during Hajj, he was standing side by side and praying, because as Muslims, we stand shoulder to shoulder with people when we pray. And he would share food afterwards, after the prayer. They're sitting down, they're eating, and he's eating next to white people. And he realized there, standing side by side, that we're all brothers. That it's not based off skin color. God judges us based off of our works and what we do and how we are, what's in our heart. And he wrote a letter. It's called Letter from Mecca. He wrote a letter to the Nation of Islam, and he said he realized that the whole racial superiority thing, that was gone. He realized in Mecca what peace really was. He realized what we're supposed to do. And he denounced the Nation of Islam, and soon later he was assassinated. So I really loved that book. Loved seeing his life story, the way he wrote, and also that transformation. And I tweeted, I really want to bring this up because it does annoy me. If someone can link it to the chat, it does annoy me when people say like, "Oh, Sneako's grifting Islam." It's like,
you've been talking about this for a long time, well prior.
Yeah, there's a tweet. The tweet is from 2013. Somebody please link it in the chat for me. I tweeted,
Okay.
after reading the Malcolm X autobiography, I seriously considered converting to Islam. I think I was like 13 or 14 when I tweeted that, and I was 11 or 12 when I read the book. So it's something that I've been seriously considering my whole life. You know, I grew up Catholic, but I never resonated with the idea. And shout out to the Catholics, Lent's coming up, but the Trinity is not in the Bible. And Catholicism, they said, I went to Catholic school, I was almost confirmed, went to catechism, you know, all this stuff. I don't believe that we should be praying to Mary. I don't believe in praying to saints. I don't believe in praying to a man. I always saw Jesus as a prophet. When I prayed as a kid, as a Catholic, I would pray to God. I wouldn't pray to the Holy Spirit. And so when I learned what Islam was, I'm like, wait, this is what I am. This is what I've always done. I've always prayed to God. I didn't pray to Saint Anthony. I was praying to God alone. So it just made sense. You know, it's just something that aligned with something that I've always believed in.
What?
Yeah, I'll share the tweet right here if you can see on the screen. This is from
Oh,
April.
wait 1 second. I think let me stop streaming because I think I might mess it up for you. 2 seconds. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so it says, this is April 2nd, 2015. Gotta admit, after doing extended research on Malcolm X, I seriously considered converting to Islam. This is 11 years ago I tweeted this. 11 years ago. There's the same Twitter account. Yeah, so like this is definitely, I think this should disprove all people saying the grift stuff.
Abba doesn't like this. He's shrieking. Abba, he doesn't like this. He's shrieking the fuck out. I've watched a lot of Abba. Right now, he's not glad. You know when Abba is glad. Right now, he's feeling pressure.
Whatever.
He's trying to prove something for his audience that he cannot prove. Sneako, bro, he has a mental picture of Sneako, how he is or should be. But, bro, fuck you, Abba. You're a fucking weirdo.
All right, hold on. I gotta stream something else. It's gonna fuck it up. Man, I'm not good with this OBS shit.
And people I know, Christians are upset and saying Jesus is king. I have all respect for Christians, man. I really think that it's proper guidance and everything. It's just not something that I can believe in. There's no reference to the Trinity in the Bible, and you know, people are saying, "Oh, you pray to Muhammad." No, we don't. Muhammad is the prophet. Jesus is the Messiah. There's so many overlaps between Christianity and Islam. We also believe that Jesus will return and Jesus is the Messiah. That Jesus is a prophet, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. We don't pray to Muhammad, peace be upon him. We pray to God and God alone. The biggest sin is praying to others than God. La ilaha illallah. There's only one worthy of worship.
What do you feel like your faith and you converting to Islam has given you?
It gave me so I said earlier, I knew this was going to go here. Like, what were you looking for when I was making those videos when I was a kid? I was looking for truth, and I found it. I found what the truth is, that there's one God, that people are always going to worship something, and if it's not God, it's going to be false idols, celebrities themselves. It's going to be their own ego. They're going to worship money. They'll worship fame. They'll worship, you know, Nicki Minaj or Trump. So we got to realize that we have to put our worship somewhere, and the best place of worship to put is toward the one almighty creator. And I found that truth, and now I know what I'm supposed to do. I no longer fear death. I know that this life is temporary. I know that this life is a test, and I know what my exact mission is and what I'm supposed to do.
What do you feel like your faith change has cost you?
It's cost me, well, I mean, if you're going to say, like, the gambling deal was offered 8 figures to gamble. I mean, I'm not going to gamble. I don't think I ever really would have, to be honest with you. I think it's cost me, you know, probably some audience members. You see, like, whenever I talk about that, like, even right now, you see the reaction. Christians get upset, and, you know, they try to disprove it. You get heavy criticism. People hold you to a different standard. It's funny that the same time, like the same day where, you know, I accidentally take a bite of pork and spit it out, that gets international, like that's like literally everywhere, millions of views. That's the same day that Elijah Schaffer and Sarah Stock, these are both conservative Christian creators. I know both and I like them both. Apparently, Elijah was Sarah's boss and he sleeps with her. They're both married and they're cheating in their relationship and it was exposed. You can see different standards being placed. Christians will be like, okay, they're imperfect, they're sinning, and I agree. But if I accidentally pour, the scrutiny that you get for being Muslim is amplified times 1,000 compared to other relations. When you're public about it, there's so much more division, anger. There's more of a target. Not only that, you get it from the Zionist agenda that has done so much to call Muslims terrorists and to try to say that the radical Islamists are taking over America. You're like, what are you talking about? Trump brought Netanyahu 5 times this term here. Trump had Mark Levin put his arm around Trump and said, Trump's the first Jewish president. And Trump goes, it's true. It's like, so how are Muslims taking over America when just look what's in your face? Muslims make up, 3% of the American population? And they say Muslims are taking over because they're praying in Times Square. It's like, what? This is like an Eid prayer. Times Square is a place where drug deals and Cookie Monster and gorillas hang out, and Mexican Elmo's taking pictures of money. It's like, okay, this prayer took 15 minutes. Is this really a huge deal? So it's just,
yeah, but we just not gonna let you celebrate in our square, bro. Like, y'all just praying. Y'all can do that at home. You don't gotta do that over here.
I don't consider that a celebration. Prayer is different than pride.
Well, it's worship. You can worship at home, bro.
You could, but there's a difference between pride.
What? Did Abba just say you can worship at home? but you can fucking come out with your stinking ass to a fucking pride. Abba, shut up, you fucking inbred cousin loving family member. Shut the fuck up.
Which is one of the seven deadly. You shouldn't even take pride in this stuff. Praying is like is a gathering, and obviously there's so many people you can't fit in a mosque, you can't fit in home.
They can do it in the parking lot. You gotta do that in our spaces. We don't want to. No
parking
pride
lot.
parades, no Puerto Rican parades, no public displays of like everybody praying together. We want none of that. None of those freedoms.
Well,
That's a wrap.
there is Puerto Rican.
If you're not winning, if you're not.
So what Abba right now is doing, he's comparing a prayer to getting it in the butt. This is what Abba is doing right now. He's comparing you praying to God with a sexual desire or sexual thing. He's comparing butt fucking with praying right now. This is what Abba is doing. Abba, you're a fucking piece of shit human being. Just so you know, if you ever see this, you're a fucking piece of shit human being. Fucking piece of shit human being.
Achieving something, I don't want to see you in the streets out here gathering in big numbers.
No, there's a difference
Either
between.
that-
I said celebration, right? Puerto Rican parades, Dominican parades, all this stuff. Chinese, they celebrate. They have this all the time. So if there's like a 15-minute prayer, this should also be allowed in.
I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah, I get you. I get the argument.
All right. People often question your religious change. What is something that you do as labor that people don't necessarily see?
This is Abba, he's not fucking. He's not fucking. Right there, you know what happened for him? He laid down on his back and showed his belly because he couldn't. Listen, Abba, he's throwing shit, nothing is sticking, bruv. Abba, you're a fucking weirdo. That's the thing.
But that you feel like is part of your religious journey or your bond. And that's something that's more regular.
Repeat. I don't understand the question.
So, faith and a journey of faith is normally something that involves labor. Now, labor can be a lot of different things. It's reoccurring commitment and action that you will take. So, what is a form of that you do from a religious standpoint that people don't necessarily see online?
I mean, Jumu'ah prayer, the Isha prayer, Fajr. I mean, right now, to be perfectly, I'm not perfect. I have been missing a lot of prayers. I'm streaming so much. Maybe I should take a break during stream to pray. But I mean, zakat is something that doesn't happen. That's the charity. You're supposed to give 2.5% of your earnings every year to charity. All this stuff is not public. Going to the masjid every Friday. There's not that much. I've been streaming.
Masjid, mosque, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So these are things that necessarily happen on camera or people don't necessarily are aware about, but these are things that you do that feel like they ground you and it's part of the process you need.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call it labor. It's like before I was.
It could be duty. It could be a duty, responsibility, whatever. Labor is just the idea of working towards something. It's something that you have to do.
Yeah, I don't see it as work because it's what is the best for you. Like before IRL streams in Miami, I always play Ayatul Kursi, which is the protection prayer. It's supposed to protect you because I'm around a lot of demonic activity. Get the evil eye on me all the time. A lot of people trying to destroy me or even put threats on my life and try to kill me. So it's like that protection does keep you steadfast and helps me. It's reassuring.
Got you. Okay. If you had to describe Malcolm X politically or spiritually, how would you do that?
As somebody who grew up.
What do you stand for?
Growth. I think he's the physical representation of growth and of, he grew up in extremely difficult circumstances and he became the best he could be.
And how would you describe him politically? How would you describe him politically?
So most of his time politically, a lot of white supremacists actually did like him because he was also advocating for segregation.
Honestly, what is it Abba is doing? It's like he's trying to fish. He's trying to fish for something stupid Sneako will say. But Sneako is not giving him anything. Abba, you're not fucking smart. Brother, this fucking 20-something-year-old is smarter than you, man. Stop fucking playing around, man.
And perhaps that's why he was assassinated, because Eventually, he was like, preaching for unity towards the end, right after Mecca. But beforehand, he wanted segregation. White supremacists were like, oh yeah, us too. Malcolm X was saying that black people need to work for each other, that we need to get rid of this mindset that's holding us back. He was trying to uplift and trying to adopt the same ideology that the white people had for black people specifically. So politically, it does kind of range. Some people say that he was a socialist. I know Malcolm X definitely leaned towards democratic socialism and communism. Malcolm X, he was very critical of Zionism as well. But I would say he didn't really tap into, from my understanding, his books and his speeches, it was mostly about how black people should work together.
Well, post Nation of Islam, there was a lot of discussion from him about human rights. It shifted from black rights to human rights specifically. And he believed in the potential to work with folks. He didn't believe in the idea that whites were necessarily evil, that, you know, there's good in all groups of people. And that was part of his faith journey. Even when you say, like, white supremacists kind of like that, I don't think that's a very accurate retelling. He wanted a space that was safe for black folks. The idea of white supremacists wasn't one in which black people had freedom and safety or segregation, and that they were separated, so that they were treated as second-class citizens, and their privileged position in society was maintained. So I kind of reject that idea that what you described at the end there in terms of, I do agree that there was some aspect of separation, but, you know, segregation, especially in that time, there's no way that they were aligned in that regard. Do you think they were?
There were definitely differences, but what they agreed upon is some aspects of segregation. Obviously, the white supremacists were probably saying, right, second-class citizens, but Malcolm X was also advocating for segregation. Not the same way, but there was an overlap. He wanted the best. He wanted black people to work for themselves. And so many white supremacists were like, oh, this guy wants them to be by themselves? Okay, cool. Let's embrace him.
Okay. If Malcolm X existed today, what do you think he would think of you?
That's a good question. I think he would disagree with my alignment with some people. I think he would be critical about the overlap that I have with political figures.
Again, listen, Malcolm X can eat a shit in the end. Listen, Malcolm X was a pimp. He was a street hustler. He was the worst of the worst. If he can turn around and make a good name for himself, then Sneako, who's done less, can do the same. So Aba, shut your fucking mouth. Stop pointing your finger. Sneako is doing a good job. You, Aba, you're a fucking extremist liberal. Blue-pilled psychopath. Nothing else.
And I think he would... Well, it depends on which Malcolm X, to be honest with you. Like, you talk about Detroit Red.
We'll talk about post Nation of Islam, because I think that's the most evolved or the most learned person. So
Mecca Malcolm.
Yeah, post Nation of Islam, so after Mecca. Yeah,
I think he would disagree with Nick Fuentes a lot, and he would try to guide people, or try to lead. I think he would, be very politically active. I think he'd be very critical of Israel. He was like really, he was spot on about Israel back then, and the manipulation going on in New York City specifically. He's done a lot of speeches about that. I think he would spend a lot of time talking about Netanyahu, criticizing Trump for that, and I think he'd be very critical of the conservative movement. And what he would think of me is like that. Yeah,
Bruv, if Malcolm wasn't killed, Malcolm would have been the president of America. What the fuck are you people talking about, man? Malcolm had so much fucking influence over the people, bro. Forget about it. If the FBI didn't send those guys from the Nation of Islam to eliminate him, bro, Epstein would never have been possible to ever do. Epstein, he would never have been existing.
definitely point out some of the...
But the powers in America who control America eliminated him.
Some of the allies I keep and say that that's imperfect.
well, let's entertain a hypothetical where you guys do have that conversation. What does that make you think or feel, knowing that?
Yeah, I would explain to him that there's a lot of benefits, and like my strategy is maybe it won't align perfectly with what he believes in, but it's an effective strategy. And you know, it's hard to contextualize because the propaganda against Muslims was not the same as it was today. We live in post 9/11 world. Obviously, that's died down a lot, but people have a stigma towards Muslims that they didn't have back then. So I think it's very valuable to have friends and allies that may not agree with you completely, because it shows that we can exist in the liberal democracy that's also the Christian nation of America without being terrorist, horrible people that they try so hard to claim we are.
Honestly, Sneako should have asked Abba about what Malcolm X would have thought about the pride parades. Because Malcolm, he would not be accepting about that shit. So, Abba, what would you say to that?
That leads to the next part. You've talked about many issues, and you've like asked oftentimes why people don't use their voice to speak on certain issues. Example, when it came to Haiti, there's a clip I saw where you wondered why people who were Haitian or part Haitian, like Kai Cenat or Your Age, didn't speak on Haiti specifically. Do you believe content creators have influence, and what responsibility do you think they have with that influence?
Of course, content creators are more influential than politicians.
Brother, content creators, musicians, sports athletes, everybody have the obligation to stand up against tyranny, human, what's it called? They have to stand and talk against bad things, like they have always done. Like Michael, like everybody before them, like Bob Marley, like everybody else. Or else they don't deserve the glory. That's why they lose the glory.
Politicians now, we have the minds. They realize how effective that is. Mamdani's whole campaign was through social media. That's why Netanyahu was paying $7,000 to influencers to promote Israeli propaganda. And this situation, I had a whole back and forth. So many, white people online got upset because Trump was putting out this false story that Haitians were eating cats and dogs in America. And it turns out that video that went viral was an African-American woman. She wasn't even Haitian. And so after he's like, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. And I'm like, actually, no, they're not. This is not. I mean, the story here that happened in America that had nothing to do with the Haitian woman. So I was pushing back against that. I was a little disappointed because obviously, look at me. People align me with, they say I'm a white supremacist and this stuff. Like Rabbi Shmuley called me that. But my dad is from Haiti.
And of course, you have to be proud of where you came from and who you are. There have been people before you who are giving their life to you so you can be here today. So of course, be proud of where you are, represent where you're from, wherever your family moved to, wherever you've been born. Always remember where you are and who you are. You're not where you've been born. You are what your genetics says.
I go to Haiti almost every year. I didn't go last year because it's overrun by gangs. It's unsafe now. But I've been there every year almost my whole life. I can speak Creole pretty well.
Your genetics is much older than a nation that is 200 years old.
And when I was talking about that false story, I didn't see other Haitian content creators. Your Age is one of the Florida Haitians. Kai Cenat is half Haitian. Nobody spoke about it. Obviously, they want to do their streams and do fun content, but it would have been valuable to hear that. And I faced so much heat, bro. I took... People say like I'm grifting the red pill. Like all the red pill hated me for saying this and started. I took all the heat for Haitians. And I'm like, bro, where's the solidarity? Can you guys say a word about this?
Yeah, I was going to play a couple clips. I actually did look up some stuff in this regards. Let's just do this one.
I get that people can make fun of it and stuff because they've never been there, but Haiti's one of the poorest countries in the world, and they're dealing with so much already. The president was assassinated in his home in 2021. Right, it's extremely poor. The currency is not doing well. It's not in a good situation. There's not a lot of clean water. There's not a lot of gas. There's not a lot of jobs, opportunities, and you could debate about why. There's a lot of back and forth about like why that is, I'll tell you this, because people don't understand things about Haiti. Haiti was one of the first nations to become independent after slavery in 1804. Toussaint Louverture, he led the Haitians to go and kill their slave owners, which I think is base, badass. See, everyone complains about like how slavery is a mentality and how black people have a victim mentality.
That's badass, and that's how it's supposed to be. Kill the fucking slave owners.
Black people in America have held on to a victim mentality for too long. You know who didn't? The Haitians. They went in there and they said, you chains? But since then, after that happened, they are still in debt to the French government over 200 years later. They're still in debt. So in a way, they're still a slave nation, right? They said that to repay because obviously after they killed.
Yeah, fucking Haitians, grow a fucking pair of balls, man. Stop fucking paying the francs. Why the fuck are you even paying the Frenchmen, man? Are you crazy? Are you fucking dumb? Why the fuck would you even give them any money?
Their slave masters.
Fucking send them a letter. Say to them you owe us money, bitch.
Are they really going to beat the French government? Are they really going to defeat that empire? No, they're not going to beat them. So they said, like, in order to repay what you did, you're going to be in debt. So the French bank technically still owns Haiti. So in a way, it's still a colony. And then
I'm just gonna play another clip here.
This video is from
Dès que
2021.
nous-mêmes haïtiens, nous commençons à comprendre ça, nous avons supposé comprendre. Nous commençons à faire des recherches sur l'originalité.
C'est deux grands différents entre Haïti et États-Unis.
Comme quoi?
Même les ça pas bon, il fait il faut.
When I was a kid, nobody in my school even knew what Haiti was. They'd be like, oh, I'm going to Haiti for Christmas. Haiti? What do you hate? You hate me? Some people just knew it for the voodoo. Like, I remember when kids saw Indiana Jones and then they had that voodoo scene, the hum and they take the doll and they rip your heart out of you. They thought that that's what Haiti was.
And yeah, you guys, yeah, you talked about Haiti pretty extensively from some of the stuff that I saw. But yeah, you'd gone there quite a lot. You have an attachment to it, and you were rather upset when you were watching everybody go off on Haitians during some of the Trump debates and during that period.
Matt Walsh still calls me that. He says, oh, Sneako's a Haitian third world communist Islamist because I defend Haiti from the lies. And it's like, people like Matt Walsh, these grifters, won't talk about Israel because they're owned by Ben Shapiro's, the Goy slaves, but he will shit on Haiti because it's an easy target, right? It's a poor country, and they've faced so many attacks, and it's destabilized. It's very poor. So of course it's be like, oh, look at these stupid Haitians, and they use it to garner a populist movement and pretend like it's like this undercover way to get racists to like your content without saying it. Like when Matt Walsh is calling me like a Haitian third worldist, what he's really saying is a hard R without saying it. And so I see it as fraudulent. I think he's just doing that to seem like he's really based and cool while not knowing anything about it. He's done debates about Haiti. He didn't know about the Clinton Foundation. He doesn't know about the connections that were very clear after the president Jovenel Moise was assassinated. He doesn't know anything. He just knows that it's poor and that he can dunk on it because he won't get any pushback because Haitians in America don't really speak up.
Yeah, I would agree that they probably just kind of stayed in their lane and try to just get by.
Well, content creators.
Yeah,
average Haitians, yeah, but I'm like the content creator specifically. But
yeah. I've been to Haiti before. I went to 2012. About that, like here in Montreal, we have a huge Haitian population. So, in fact, I would say over half of my friends, people I've known for decades now, are Haitian. So for me, I have like a lot of proximity. I've learned a lot about the culture. Took classes, even learned how to speak. So I think that's why you learned that I speak Creole. Même si je n'ai pas un accent qui est bon, je peux communiquer avec vous parce que je peux lire, je peux écrire en créole, je peux communiquer avec tous les Haïtiens que je peux rencontrer. And for me, like,
Pas mal.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, man. Me and Preach, every time we heard you speak Creole, we're like, hey, boy, we're gonna have to set you up with some classes. Yeah, I mean, but to be fair, I mean,
my accent is better. You definitely have a better vocabulary, but my accent is better. I'll take that.
Nah, bro, you do a bit of like the stereotypical, like over exaggerate. I do an accent where it's like very clear I don't speak it as a first language. Your accent is like a little bit of the. It's a little bit of like the. You ever seen those old cartoons where like Tintin, and then every time they had black people, they had the big ass lips with the darkest skin? Your accent is kind of like that for Creole. It's a little bit of the exaggerated one. I'm not gonna lie. A little bit. I'm not gonna lie. But I do think that your love for the country is very genuine. And when you're hearing all these conservatives say all this stuff from all across, I went to go watch your coverage. I watched you feel some type of way. And then there was other clips I saw you that I was very like a little bit confused by. So I'm gonna pop them in. I want to show them to you. You can give me context afterwards.
And by the way, Myron's in the chat. What's up, Myron? He's talking some smack. But let's see this clip.
That's good for him. So right here,
My cousin's a black guy, lives in Haiti to this day. And he told me like, oh yeah, Haitian guys, when they get hungover, what they do is they roast cats and dogs. The cat specifically, they eat roasted cat and it like heals the hangover. I talked to my grandma and my grandma.
Sneako, you're fucking kidding right now. You're telling me the hangover cure in Haiti is barbecuing a cat.
That's what I heard from my
I rescue cats. I literally...
Okay, now, I couldn't find the full clip for this, so I'm going to let you just speak on it, and then I'm going to play something else.
Yeah, so this is the truth about that situation. The video that went viral, they say Haitians are coming in America and eating cats. That's not true. That video that they talked about, that was an African-American woman. I didn't know this, so I asked my family. My family lives in Haiti. Like my cousin, my grandmother, like most of my family on my dad's side lives in Haiti right now. So I asked them about it, and they're like, oh yeah, like some of them, like this does happen, in Haiti. And my cousin told me, this is what I heard from my cousin. He said that in the mountains, the neighborhood is called, I can't remember off the top of my head, it's north of Pétionville. Some people will get hungover, and to cure the hangover, they'll eat roasted cat. That's what he told me.
Okay.
So I'm repeating, and this is after like I was doing so much defense work. I'm like, oh shit. So maybe it's untrue, but that's what I heard from Haitians.
Got you. Okay. I'm going to. So I'm going to just give a quick warning because this is an edit. Okay. So there is a bit of like a clipping thing going on. Okay. But they're playing some back and forth stuff. And I want to just pop this in. I ended up just kind of ripping it. All right. Now I'm giving that disclaimer. There's probably some context on a lot of these clips that's missing, but there's just a bit of contrast with some of the clips. And I want you to kind of just walk me through. Okay.
All right. Sure. If you believe
here it is.
that you're superior because you're white, you are Jewish.
Montage.
The reason that they're lying, so comfortable lying about a Christian country, their Christian brothers in Haiti, is because they don't consider them people. They don't consider them brothers at all.
Flashback.
The reason that the earthquake might have happened in Haiti, not to make a republic, is because they practice something called voodoo. They call themselves Christians in Haiti, but at the same time, they practice a voodoo, like an African voodoo version of Christianity.
The next.
Okay, so I just want to talk about that one clip.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, there's inconsistencies with Christianity in America as well. There's inconsistencies with the Christianity in Haiti, right? So many Christians in America will prioritize America and put nationalism above their creed, or they'll only see white Christians as brothers. That's an inconsistency with Christianity. There's inconsistencies with the Christianity in Haiti. So many of them, they'll like on all the tap taps, which is the cars where everybody, the big cabs, everybody goes. It says Jesus is king, Jesus is king. But also voodoo is so rampant, which has nothing to do with core Christianity. So many Haitians, they are Christian, but they have mixed it up with voodoo. So you can make the same comparison to Western nations who say like, okay, America's a Christian country, but also prioritize nationalism. It still is Christianity, but they have mixed it up with other things.
So my question is, when you say, I'm sure you've heard this from somebody else, but when you say something like, the reason some people believe that the earthquake happened or
is because it's punishment for
voodoo?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think about that?
I was there right after the earthquake. I was even there for one of the aftershocks in Haiti. And the earthquake infamously did not even touch the Dominican Republic. So, which is strange because Hispaniola is such a small island. How could this earthquake only affect Haiti? A lot of the theory is that this is the reason so many bad things happen in Haiti is because of the rampant witchcraft. There's a lot of witchcraft that goes on, undeniably. So it is a Christian country, it's majority Catholic, but there's so much witchcraft going on too. There's a lot of witchcraft going on in America. Maybe that's why so many bad things happen in America. So many young girls practice astrology, and there's a lot of witchcraft is more rampant than ever. So.
Okay. Yeah. I think my issue is, like, I understand, you're hearing this secondhand, so you're just repeating it. But it's like, if you just look up tectonic plates, I'm pretty confident you're going to find out that Haiti just happens to be in a bad spot regardless of where it's located. And the tectonic plates kind of dictate some of that stuff.
But why? It is. Do you not find it a little strange that the Dominican Republic didn't get hit at all? Even though they do practice Santeria there.
No, it's not. I'll explain why it's not weird. Because if you look at Haiti's geography, I'm pretty sure if you go to the northern part, they don't get hit by earthquakes nearly as much. It's all Haiti. Why does only one part of it get hit? It's probably just a matter of location. Sure. And if you know anything about Port-au-Prince, a lot of the population is very deeply condensed around there. So the most likely scenario is that there's like an actual legit scientific reason for why one place,
sure.
It's like
I don't even.
It's like why do some places get hurricanes versus others? I don't think it's a matter necessarily of religion. It's like if you live under certain currents by certain oceans, you're gonna have more likelihood. That's why Canada doesn't get hurricanes, because we're just not in a position to get them. But when the reason I'm bringing this up, I think you have a genuine love for Haiti, but if you get online and you're repeating this stuff about people that a lot of folks don't know about, and you aren't at all certain, you're just repeating, that's going to be a lot of people's interpretation of what Haiti is. Like, you speak early in the video, you say, nobody really knows what Haiti's about. They watched a movie and they saw somebody's heart get snatched and they think it's voodoo. And then I watch another clip of you and it's you not fact checking, not looking into it, and you're repeating it. You're doing the exact same thing in a way.
Let me respond to that. I don't believe that fully, that's the reason. I've never reported that. I've reported about the theory that people say, but Haiti's faced so many natural disasters, had presidents assassinated, so many corrupt politicians, so many bad things have happened to Haiti ever since the slave owners were assassinated. And some people report that the slaves went to the forest and used witchcraft in order to get strong enough in order to kill the slave masters. And if you look at the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, which I think is now in modern-day Tel Aviv, where the Pride parades we spoke about earlier are happening. Sodom and Gomorrah is a biblical story where this city was practicing so much sex magic and degeneracy that eventually God's like, all right, I've had enough, and punished Sodom and Gomorrah. People could apply that theory and say, okay, if this is a place where so much witchcraft is going on, there are going to be punishments. So maybe it's not a coincidence that earthquakes and natural disasters and so much evil happens to a place where witchcraft is rampant. You know, I'm not saying that's 100% true. The majority of Haitians are good people, but that's maybe there's something.
But what's happening now is that you're kind of just looking at this coincidence or this incident, and then you're linking them, and then you're saying that out loud. The problem when you do that is like, people are not going to do the secondhand research afterwards. That's why like these things carry weight, and I say that because you'll talk about the cats and dogs in Haiti and the whole story that was told about the lady not being true, but people are just using the exact same logic, right? There's a huge Haitian population. There's a story about cats and dogs being eaten in Springfield. Well, coincidence, and that's all people are going to go off of, and they're going to repeat it ad nauseum. So there has to be a little bit more.
But I'm also not going to lie. If I hear from my Haitian family, if I hear from people in Haiti, maybe you should ask Preach about that. If you hear from the Haitians, like, oh wait, sometimes like this is going on. Even my other friend Lenz, one of my close friends from New York, is a Haitian guy, and he says like, oh yeah, no, like Haitians eat, like, yeah, sometimes that. But obviously it wasn't happening in America. That's my point. But also, if I hear this, I'm not going to cover up. I'm not a liar. You know, this is.
Well, no one's asking you to lie, but I think if you don't know something, don't confirm it. If my friend says this person raped somebody else, I'm not going to repeat that publicly.
I'm not repeating it as if it's factual. What I said in that clip was my cousin told me that Haitians eat cats. My friend told me that Haitian cat. My grandmother told me that Haitians eat cats in Haiti. So I'm repeating that. You know, I'm not saying all Haitians do, but I get it.
Okay, Sneako, I'll give you an example. A friend of mine told me that Sneako raped this girl. I say that publicly. I'm not saying it's a fact. What happens?
What, did your friend tell you that?
It's a hypothetical, but I'm asking you.
Well, in that hypothetical, did your friend tell you that?
Yes, my friend told me that.
Then you're telling the truth. And then what you could follow up with that is like, my friend told me that Sneako did this, but maybe it's not true or this, but this is what I heard. I don't believe him to be somebody who would do that. Maybe he's telling a lie. You're still, what you are doing in the hypothetical is telling the truth.
I'm telling the truth that I don't know is true. I have no way to know it's true. I'm just hearing the second hand. But the implications for the person, so implications for you, after I go on my live stream and say, I heard Sneako grape somebody, is that people are going to be coming for you afterwards.
Well, I also saw videos ever since the gangs have now taken over Haiti. It's an unsafe place. I've seen videos of that happening in Haiti. It's not happening in America, but I've seen it. Maybe the video's AI, perhaps, but...
You seen what you seen earthquakes start after voodoo?
Not earthquakes. I've seen like videos of like, cats being fried and stuff happening in Haiti. But my point was that the story that Trump was spreading, it wasn't happening in America. That was false.
I think the point I'm trying to make is that a lot of these places have bad PR, and I feel like sometimes people just talk very loosely, and I think they add to that, and then afterwards they're like, "Why are we viewed a certain type of way?" But like, folks end up playing into a lot of these things, and you know, people will sometimes ask me like, "Is Haiti like this or Haiti like that?" I can speak about what I know. I'm not going to just go off some rumors and then repeat that, one, because we already get enough bad rep from media that does it intentionally. And then secondly, because I have the color of skin and because I visited, people are going to take me as a bit more of an authority figure. The same way, you're one of the few content creators that speaks about Haiti. So I'm just saying, if you...
But I'm not going to run cover it, because like I told you in the beginning, my mind...
No one's asking to run cover. I'm not lying either. I'm not telling you to lie. I'm just saying, if you're going to speak on it, speak on what you know.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Completely fair.
That's what I'm getting.
This is my friend Lenz. Okay, Lenz, where are you from?
I'm Haitian. I'm from Haiti.
Okay, you're from Haiti. When did you come to America? I'm on speaking about Haiti with Aba right now. We're talking about the cat situation.
Okay.
Obviously the story that Trump spread around in Haiti about cats and dogs was false, but what can you tell me? You grew up in Haiti. What can you tell me about the cats and dogs or the cat stuff in Haiti?
It's actually real.
Can you explain a little further?
Like, there are certain parts in Haiti where people actually eat cats. It's real. It's not a... But the thing that happened in the States, it wasn't real.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And can you speak can you speak a little Creole to let's get some proof that you're Haitian? You guys... Go ahead.
No. I mean, I'm not Haitian. I speak Creole. I want to ask a question.
No, for the chat, for the
yeah,
people.
I want to ask a question.
Let me turn on my speaker so we can hear you. Hold on. Give me a second, Aba.
So my one question for him is...
Speakers, one second, Aba. Speak. 1 second, Lenz. I'm switching the output. Hold on.
No problem.
So he asked... Talk one more time, Aba.
So do you believe voodoo works when people cast these spells?
Okay, so he's saying you can hear now. Is he saying is voodoo real, Lenz?
Is voodoo real?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, voodoo is real, and voodoo exists mainly. Like, if you go to Africa, they have the real voodoo in Africa. You know, yes, it originated, from them. Us Haitian, we have it, but it's not weird. If you really want to know what real voodoo is, go to Africa. Go to Benin.
Okay.
Benin, Congo.
Okay. So my question for you is, what did these voodoo practitioners do to people? Give me an example.
I mean, I think we have a very narrow understanding about voodoo. They could heal people. they could heal people. They could also, hurt people as well. It's the same way when you think about it, right? Let's say somebody's walking down the street. You say, "Oh, I hope God, does something bad to you." And it's the same way that voodoo is used. Like they use it to do something bad to somebody. The same way you could use it to like kill people, you could also use it to help people. In the same way you could pray for somebody, it's the same way you could wish harm upon somebody. And that's the whole perspective of it.
Okay, you can take me off your speaker.
What do you say, Albert? I couldn't hear you.
You can take me off speaker.
Okay. Thanks, Lens. I appreciate it. Merci beaucoup.
Bye-bye.
So,
let me switch back. And 1 second. My apologies. Go ahead.
So the reason why I asked that question, I'm still speaker.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh.
Output device. Yeah, here we go. Fixed. Yeah,
cool.
All good.
The reason why I asked that question is my experience. Listen, whether the cats and dogs thing is real, I don't know. I have a hard time, even being from Ethiopia, when someone tells me, "Oh, this is a thing that happens here," or whatever. My experience growing up in Ethiopia is like word of mouth happens. People heard it from someone else, and
Bro, who the fuck cares? Let's see. Let's just go forward a little.
And then you repeat it online, and it's like these have implications. You're telling your audience that black folks are going to be more violent in these kinds of situations, especially against Asians. Be wary when the numbers don't really bear it. I know you've explained why you don't think
once
that.
again, this hate crime is not accurate. Because the problem to me, the problem overall to the community is violent crime. Is not verbal crime. I mean, do you want to look up? Do you want to look up violent crime? We could look it up. We could look up New York City violent crime statistics.
Sure. If there's evidence that violent crimes, there's a disproportionate amount, or is there large change? That's fine. And then also, it's like, if you're looking at this situation, and then you're even going in regards to the race, then you have to look at, okay, are these hate crimes on the basis of them being Asian? Is this a matter of like there's an overrepresentation of black folks within the homeless?
75% of anti-Asian stop Asian hate post-COVID. Most of these attacks were it was like majority black people, but they weren't discussing it. When they were saying stop Asian hate, they were acting like it was all right, but it was majority black people doing it because, if anyone lives in New York, I don't have the stats right here, majority of homeless people and stuff, like if you go on the train, the crackhead, stuff like this, it's like it's clear who, like let's be honest for a second. And people can't have that conversation because they don't want to be called racist, but that's who's going to be the one pushing a lady into the train tracks is a crackhead who's homeless on the train station, who's the majority of people doing it. I mean, if you look at all the videos, it was almost all.
Okay, can I ask if what you're saying is true, that black folks are doing that? Let's say hypothetically it's true. What are the implications of that, and what's the problem there? What do you see as the issue, if that's true?
That maybe there's a bigger problem over here, like maybe that the crime is not being addressed, or the black homeless rate and the black drug addicted rate in New York City is not being addressed properly because people don't want to be called racist. That Asians have to live in fear, and Asians can't speak about what they know to be true because they don't also want to be called racist.
Yeah, so they have to live in fear, like black folks' potential hate crimes, or for whatever it might be. Mm-hmm. Or it could be homelessness, like you said, drug, but like black folks will go after them, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Okay. But again, I didn't know this until like 5 seconds ago. Just like, so this is all I found on this. It says, and I'll put it up on the screen so you can see it. I'll pull it up on the, and I will just expand this a little bit. You can read it yourself. And I will read it out loud.
Scholars have challenged this black-Asian conflict narrative by highlighting that white perpetrators commit over 75% of anti-Asian hate crimes. I remember the stat. So what's considered a hate crime is also verbal. So if you yell at somebody, that's labeled as a hate crime. What was really important from hate crimes, because I think the statistic is manipulated, is violent attacks. The violent attacks are separate from a hate crime. This is why I think the stat's manipulated.
Okay. Do you have any statistical number that shows that black?
I could look up the definition of hate crime. It's verbal attacks.
No. I'm asking if you have any study or anything like that shows that, like, for violent crime.
For studies, no. But I went to the protests, and it was after Asian women were attacked, and I think it was like 2 or 3 that I went to. All of them were committed by black people.
Okay, so here's the issue that I'm running into, right? Like, I need something.
You need something. You need statistics. Then let's look at violent crime statistics.
But I'm not going to ask two people. The reason why I'm saying this, Sneako, is like you're doing again the exact thing that makes the whole Springfield cats and dogs story valid, literally, right? Because I heard from 2-3 people and they said they do it, so that's it. And then you repeat it online, and it's like these have implications. You're telling your audience that black folks are going to be more violent in these kinds of situations, especially against Asians. Be wary when the numbers don't really bear it. I know you've explained why you don't think
once again, this hate crime is not accurate. Because the problem to me, the problem overall to the community is violent crime, is not verbal crime. I mean, do you want to look
Okay,
up?
but
Do you want
you
to look
don't
up
have any
violent crime?
evidence.
We could look it up. We could look up New York City violent crime statistics.
Sure. If there's evidence that violent crimes, there's a disproportionate amount, or is there a large change? That's fine. And then also, it's like, if you're looking at the situation, and then you're even going in regards to the race, then you have to look at, okay, are these hate crimes on the basis of them being Asian? Is this a matter of like there's an overrepresentation of black folks within the homeless community? Is it mostly drug addicts? Like my
That's
issue
true.
with these kinds
There's
of
many
conversations.
reasons. There's many reasons why that happens. Like maybe people argue that.
Well,
Go ahead.
no, sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying that maybe there's a lot of reasons why there's an overwhelming amount of black homeless people. People say maybe it's gentrification, maybe it's white supremacy, maybe it's like the drugs that were poured into the black community making black people poor. But that's not what I'm saying. I was like, with this Stop Asian Hate thing, the majority of the actual attacks, it was black people, but people were apprehensive to talk about it. But I'm not saying all black people are violent. That's not the rhetoric here.
Well, you're kind of insinuating, or the what you take away from the comment when you say that is that this issue is something that's stemming mostly from black folks. That's what happens, right? And the issue I have is that there's no facts to back it up. There's no actual proof of it, and then you repeat it as if it's true.
What do you consider to be?
Talked to a couple people.
What do you consider to be proof? Because earlier you started off by saying people in Dubai, like you compared pride parades in Israel to Dubai pooping and saying they're all doing this when it's all undercover. You're talking about text messages. You're using the same evidence that I'm using here. You're using firsthand evidence from people that are reporting about this stuff. You haven't seen it firsthand, and you're blaming all of Dubai. I'm comparing this.
Right.
I'm using the same exact methods to determine what's going on in New York City.
I don't think that's what happened. Me saying that some people go to Dubai and then are pooped on does not mean that most of the women who go to Dubai are getting pooped on. It does not mean that most influencers are doing these doo-doo contracts, okay? That's not what I'm saying at all. And if I were to say that, someone could ask, what proof do you have that it's most influencers or most of the women go to Dubai? And what I would look like is I would like have egg on my face because I don't have any proof of that. I'm just going off anecdotal stories.
Sure, then
that would be an incorrect statement.
You made a pretty assertive claim earlier about that. Yeah, go ahead.
My only claim earlier was that some people do that, and that's true. There are some people who go over there and take doo-doo contracts. That's a fact. The same way, if your statement was just some of the people who commit the crime against Asian populations are black, that would also be true. But that's very different than saying most or vast majority. That is a complete. Now you're saying there's an overrepresentation, which insinuates that there's some other issues involved.
Do you know
do you understand what I'm trying to get
at? The FBI crime statistic where it says although black people represent 12% of the American population, they commit over 50% of the violent crimes.
Okay.
Do you know that's that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, so that's just based off of that. There's an blacks are overrepresenting violent crime in America based off the FBI crime statistic.
Okay, even if that's true, just because they might do that, does that mean that they do most of the mass shootings? No. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is not to do like white versus black. The reason I'm bringing that up is just because they're represented or overrepresented in some segments does not mean that they commit all the different crimes.
I didn't say that either.
Extent.
That's what I was saying, like violent crime on petty crime on Asian people in New York City, which is like shoving someone to the train tracks or beating someone up. Overwhelmingly, that's going to be from violent black crime. But yeah, school shootings, a lot of this stuff that does happen from white people. White and black crime is different.
Yes, but you're using the crime of disproportionality with black or African Americans as a way to say, well, see if they're overrepresented here, then it tracks that.
Honestly, Abe, he's fucking boring, bro.
Really great that we have somebody, but behind closed doors, if they get their fucking way, they want you to have no rights. I just got to push back. And the reason I got to push back is like you say that, like it's not, it's none doesn't mean anything. And then you have interviews with Kanye, with Alex Jones, where he's
on Ye's camp. Ye was running for president. We were both working on that political campaign.
Of stuff like deporting American citizens because they committed a crime. And then oftentimes the way they talk about this is very specifically geared towards those of minority communities. It's very clear to me then, or it starts to become clear to me what I'm listening to. When I hear things about how they want to close off immigration except from like white specific countries, it's very clear to me what the project and the identity is. And I don't know, Sneako, if you are looking at them for what they're actually trying to do and then just buying the rhetoric. I think, me personally, the way I've seen things evolve and how it don't even matter if you're a citizen anymore. If you just got the wrong accent, motherfuckers might be on that ass. So, stronger. And
now, getting married and having children by that age is also a pipe dream. So, like, why does that happen? Why are we at this place right now?
For me, my top concern right now in the world is twofold. When it's the affordability crisis, I think that's just growing by the day. I think as job opportunities are disappearing, people are getting more and more lost and worried about their future. So that's my number one priority and my number one issue. And then I think that's number one.
So why is there an affordability crisis in America?
I think it is a bit of a crossroads. I think with AI and all of that stuff, I think it's impacting the job market and the prospects. I also think economically speaking, this own administration has done a lot of harm to its own economy. I think personally, this is not a topic I really go in depthly on because I'm just somebody who tends to view more than I do speak on it. But I couldn't tell you the reasons why. Why do you think?
Okay.
I feel like you might know more than me.
So you said that the reason that there's an affordability crisis is AI and the economy?
Well, I think the way that they've hampered their own industries, I think some of the investment
Honestly, Aba is a fucking retard. And Sneako, he just realized it.
Choices that have been made. I
Investments,
think,
okay.
yeah. So I think, for example, the tariffs are a great example of things that have only hurt the world economy in general and America itself. I think you're seeing a loss of jobs. I think jobs now are completely down than they were almost a year ago, and they're still going down. So obviously, the job market is just fucking in the toilet in that regard. There's a lot of uncertainty. It's so multifaceted in regards to the housing market. There's so many different things, but I personally just don't feel like the best authority on it. So
I'm just asking what you think is the number one important issue. I mean, because you asked extensively.
That's the number one important issue.
Affordability. Okay, and so the reasons you listed were AI and investments, right? Like the spending budget, where our money's going.
Sorry, repeat that.
Okay, so you said AI and investments, and by investments, do you mean where our tax dollars are going and where the American budget's going? Correct? Investing into like the military-industrial complex. By the way, that's the number one spending. This is the number one. That's where most of the money's going.
If you're asking me the causes, I have enough humility to say this. If you're asking me the causes, I can't tell you why. I can speculate, but like it's just it's not something I'm well read enough to even point to sources. Okay, so if I can tell you the one thing, I said I could tell you the reasons why. I can tell you what I think is the number one issue, and that's affordability. That's the real answer for me.
Okay, but I mean, then I don't think it's fair for you to be like overly so critical about who I'm aligning with and what the repercussions are, what the future's going to happen. If you have very strong opinions about my platform and what I'm going to do, while also admitting that you.
Exactly, Sneaks. Tell that motherfucker to shut the fuck up.
You don't know what the main issue is.
What do you mean I don't know what the main issue is?
You said that the main issue is affordability and you don't know why it happens and you haven't looked into it. So if you don't know that, then I don't think it's fair to also have so many criticisms about what I believe in and my political goals or my aspirations for this country. How could you have strong opinions about me and my platform, but not strong opinions about the country?
Super easy. I don't critique you about your points about affordability. I think there's also.
Abba don't critique you on your viewpoints. He critiques you on how you make him feel because he's a fucking bitch. Abba, you're a fucking old ass bitch. You're a dinosaur. Bro, go dance. Go dance cha-cha, you're fucking retard.
Also the rise in fascism and right-wing groups that are incredibly extreme. I think there's a rise in that. There's a rise in this kind of politics where it's going to be stripping people of their rights. And that's something that I might know more.
Because there's a rise in blue pills. It's a fucking reaction. Yo, you so fucking retarded. If there's less blue pill guys who are extremists, there will be less red pill guys who are extremists. It's fucking it goes in a fucking symbiosis, you fucking stupid fuck. Damn, bro. Damn.
I think it is it's not the number one issue, which is what you're asking about.
The number one is affordability.
And that's something I think you play a part in.
Affordability, right. So Gen Z holds, the average debt in Gen Z is $94,000. And the average 30-year-old does not own a house or is not married anymore. In the 1960s, the average 30-year-old was married and had a kid. Today, like less than 10% at the age of 30 are married and can own a home. Owning a home is a pipe dream now. Getting married and having children by that age is also a pipe dream. So like, why does that happen? Why are we at this place right now?
I don't know.
We're at this place because military spending is the number one. That's where the budget majority goes. 70% of our budget is towards the military industrial complex. Where is the military fighting wars? Why is this so expensive?
Okay, if you're asking these questions and I say I don't know. Now, if you want to say to me I don't agree, hold on. I'll just say, if you say I have an issue with how much they spend on the military budget and I don't think it's justified, I think it's for the wrong reasons, you probably get me to believe that and I can learn more about it and I'm more than willing to. But I don't know what that has to do with my criticisms of you and what you were saying earlier. What does this have to do with that?
Because you're criticizing my worldview and who I'm aligning with politically, and I'm explaining to you what the most important issue is to me, right? So you have strong opinions about that, while also admitting that you don't have strong opinions about what you think the solution should be. So
I'm not figuring out your worldview.
Okay, but you scrutinize my worldview. I'm trying to figure out yours. You said the biggest issue is affordability. I'm trying to tell you why that is, why there's an affordability crisis.
Okay.
The other thing you listed was AI. The other one you listed was AI. LLMs and ChatGPT have been infiltrated completely by Zionists. Sam Altman is the owner of ChatGPT. He's a gay Jew. Netanyahu has said publicly how they're using LLMs and how they're programming it to fit their agenda. The reason that AI is replacing these jobs so quickly is you have to look at who's behind it and who's controlling it. The reason that there's an affordability crisis, you could even go back to the central bank system that started from the Rothschilds. Epstein in his files recently just said he represents the Rothschilds. We no longer operate off of a gold standard. The Rothschilds, they are the ones who bought the land and were able to make the trade deal with England to displace Palestinians and to start Israel. Israel is connected. Israel exists because of the Rothschilds. Epstein represents.
Nico is explaining it very fine, but Appa don't give a fuck about it because he's a fucking bitch. Because he doesn't even care about it. He just wants to go to his gay parades and be a little gay boy. Sorry not to offend anybody, but yeah, it's just jokes. But Abba, the problem is people like Abba. It's not even gays or trans, bro. But people like Abba. Abba, he's the fucking problem. Fucking speaking chalk. At least a gay person, he's only fighting for gay rights and that's what he knows. But Abba, he's here talking about this and that and this and that, and then he fucking haven't even read up on it. Abba, you're a fucking joke. You made a clown out of yourself, and this is why you don't do this. Debates or talking or hanging around people who's not on your YouTube channel that's been clipped and all of this, because then people really see who you are. A person with no charisma, no knowledge, just speaking out of his ass.
Presented the Rothschilds. The affordability crisis goes right back, and apparently you seem like you agree with me that Israel is the main issue. Israel is the main parasite causing the problem that you said is the main concern.
No, see, I would agree with you if I believed that was true, or if I.
Oh, Sneako, you don't know. Listen, Sneaks. Where he's from, it's Ethiopia. There's a lot of Jews. And by looking at this face, you should know, Sneaks, bro. At least you should know that.
Knew that was true. I don't. So that's why I don't put it up there. Now, if it turns out to be true, then we can have a different discussion. But I don't believe that, or I don't know that.
What do you need me to look up to show you that the Rothschilds started the central bank system and also started the formula?
Well, I would have to actually look up a lot of information and read up on it. This is not something I read up on, so I'm going to just be very transparent and say, I don't know. But what I am going to get back to is, when I criticize you, I don't criticize you because you are critical of Israel. I don't criticize you because you want to talk about the Rothschilds or any of these things. My criticism of you.
Sneako, he criticized you because you made his little clitoris hurt. Stop that, Sneako.
Is how you're engaging with facts and how you determine something to be a fact when you repeat it. Your definition of investigative journalism, your idea of caring for people and thinking about the rights of fellow Muslims or fellow Haitians or whatever, and then also aligning yourself with people who would probably harm that. These are criticisms that are very pointed and very specific, and then you're pointing me to the economy and then Israel's influence. Are you trying to say I'm ignorant of Israel, and you think it's more important to align yourself with these people who are against Israel, even if it hurts your own people?
Well, one, I don't concede and think that it hurts my own people. I think that there's more of a benefit than Israel being in control right now. And my second point is that I think you should redirect the energy that you spent. You've brought up so many clips of over the years of things I've said, of debates, of my career. That would be better invested into the power structures and into the main concern. You said the main concern in the West right now is the affordability crisis. If you had invested the time you spent on investigating me into why there's an affordability crisis, that'd be a better use of your platform. I think you should.
Oh, Sneaks. Mic drop. Bruv, that's a mic drop. Bruv. You told them how it is. If you just use the time, instead of using the time to find things on how to criticize him or trying to make you look better in some fucking people's eyes, you could have read up on fucking something factual and fucking something we can use as a human society. But no, you rather fish after something you can use to fuck with Sneako. But Sneako, he fucked you, man. He fucked you. He dominated this conversation. He dominated you. He made a fucking clown out of you.
Should apply that.
Your fucking channel is done, bro. Forget about it. After this fucking shit, nobody's gonna listen to you, man.
Same criticism towards me, towards what's going on in the world.
Well, no, because there's other people who do it, and I trust them to do it, and I'm good with them. I want to focus in on the things that I'm interested in, that I feel like are my purview, and that I have.
You're a good guy, Abba. You're a fucking good guy. Little guy boy, Abba. Fuck. Sneaks, please cook him. I can see it in his face. Sneaks is freaking out in his brain right now. He's thinking, should I destroy him? Should I fucking eliminate him? How far should I take this with this guy? Come on, Sneaks, cook this motherfucker, man.
A genuine want for. It's not my responsibility. If, like, let's say tomorrow, okay, there's a housing crisis, okay? A housing crisis is so bad, half the people are homeless.
It's not his responsibility to keep up with information and be informed. It's just his information. It's only his responsibility to yap and show you some fucking stupid videos. Honestly, people who follow this Abba, they're fucking retards. Honestly, you gotta be one of the biggest retards after fucking listening to this shit.
If I don't have a genuine motivation, or if I'm not deeply interested in learning all the facts and learning everything and speaking on it, I don't have a responsibility to talk about it. That's akin to you saying everybody should stop talking about everything because Israel's a bigger deal. Is that what you want for the world?
So do you find me more interesting than Israel?
No.
Yeah, we fucking stopped talking about everything until we sorted fucking Israel out and fucking established Palestine, because that's how we fucking fix the whole world. That's the fucking problem where all the in the body, when you have cancer, you remove the cancer. You don't let it spread. And what we have been doing, we have let the cancer spread. So that's why you remove the cancer, you stop it from spreading. Not saying that people have to be eliminated, but you find out the problem, the root problem, and you solve it. You fucking don't fucking piss around the bush. You don't fucking piss your pants and fucking hope to stay fucking warm for the rest of the day. Fuck, man, Abe. You're a fucking retard.
I find talking about the way content creators engage with content and their influence and all these things important. One, two, I feel internally motivated by it. Yeah. I feel more interested in talking about
why,
how people engage with facts. Why?
Yeah. Why am I more interesting than Israel?
It's not you specifically. You act like I wake up in the morning, I'm like, what's Sneako up to?
But you've invested more time into me than Israel. You've admitted.
Yeah, I've invested more time into learning about people in my sphere more than a lot of political issues. What's wrong with that?
Because that's not the main issue, because that's less important. I have less influence than
you. No, it's less important to you. You think it's the top issue. I would argue that...
So do you. You said the affordability crisis is the main issue, not me.
No. Yeah, but you're saying the affordability crisis is Israel. That's not what I said. That's what you said.
Well, okay, but...
You're the fucking chop G, Sneako. Fucking cook this fucking rat. This fucking leech. This fucking ape, he's only here to fucking make money. He's not here to help anybody, to improve anybody's life, to fucking make humanity go forward. He's a fucking leech. Cook him, Sneaks.
You said the issue is the affordability crisis, but you've also said you don't know why that is. So you've invested more time into me than what you think is the main issue, which is the affordability crisis. So therefore, you find me more interesting than the main problem in America.
There's two parts. Something could be the top problem, and I could deal with another problem that I think is also important. And you're saying there's something wrong with me dealing with number 4 on the list instead of number 1. Why wouldn't I deal with number 4 if it's more interesting to me?
Because then your priorities are out of whack. The priority should always be number 1, right? Your focus should be on number 1, not number 4 or 6 or 7.
No, you're wrong. I think the priority of our government and the people I elect who actually have the capabilities, their priority should be on that. My job and what I'm going to take an interest in and what I'm going to influence is what I feel, one, capable, one, within my interest field, and that's what I'm playing. Like, it's a very weird thing that you're doing, because you're essentially saying, because I didn't put my focus on the number 1 issue in the world, there's something weird about that.
I'm not saying it's weird. I'm not saying it's weird. I think that your fixation and your priorities could be, well, obviously your priorities are not number 1. You're not even focusing on what you think is the main issue, and I think that's the best use of your platform and your voice. You have a big audience.
I'm focusing on the issue that I can best influence and that I'm most internally motivated by.
Right.
Like if somebody does, hold on. If somebody does woodworking and that's where their talent is, that's where their skill. But the world needs a lot of engineers. I don't tell the woodworker to stop being a woodworker. Do what you're good at. Contribute to society your way. Not everyone has to go into engineering because that's what we need. Find your lane and be you.
Okay, but how could you even know if what I'm doing is correct or genuine or the best it could be, while also admitting that you don't know the power structures, right? If you don't understand what the power structures are, then you're not able to have a fair criticism about my
Exactly.
platform because you don't know how the world works.
If you are saying, okay, my criticism of you is not that you have the wrong priority. That's not my point. My criticism of you is that you are advocating for people whilst aligning yourself with people that are going to hurt your folks. That's it, right? A lot of people in your circle oftentimes perpetuate a lot of anti-black rhetoric, or they say a lot of racist shit, or they say things that's in favor of one group over the other. That's the truth. Their political worldview is one that in which their group benefits and other folks are hurt. That's the people that you surround yourself with a lot of times, right? So I'm saying if you're going to advocate for these people, how do you hold that view and then also work with folks who are going to hurt that? Now, we just disagree on the fact that they're going to hurt your folks. That's
you haven't provided any valid evidence that they're going to hurt me, especially I stated why it's going to improve the life of Muslims or brown people in America compared to the power structure that exists right now. I see it as an improvement rather than something that's harmful. And I don't know how you can make the comparison. You're saying that it's going to hurt my people. Well, okay, right now we're controlled by Israel, so if that's removed, and I believe that they are causing more harm to Muslims and brown people than a majority white country or Christian country, that I don't know how you can make that determination while not understanding what Israel is doing.
Okay, let's say I agree with you. Let's say I agree that Israel's the number one issue, okay? But you also think it's very important to protect your people, okay? So I'm going to just agree with you for the sake of this example. The first question I would raise is, do you have to align yourself with folks who are therefore afterwards it's going to hurt your folks? Let's say my worldview is real, okay? Now, I believe that these people are going to hurt the folks that you claim to care about. And I also will grant you that Israel's the number one problem, okay? I don't think it's a completely crazy thing for me to say, first off, you have to align yourself with these people, consider the after effects of them winning and getting more power is going to hurt your folks. That'd be the first question I would raise. And then if you're saying yes, then I think you could probably justify it, but you'd have to acknowledge the fact that it's going to hurt your folks.
Okay. I don't think you can, based off of what you described about the world, I don't think you can even fairly make the assertion that it's going to harm without knowing who's in control now.
Abe is totally right. That is why everybody in America who is a minority should stop voting on every election. Because after Abe's ideology and his smart thinking, real smart, anybody who's harming you, you can't ally with them. So, how the fuck to explain voting then? Both the parties have fucking destroyed the fucking minority communities through the fucking 100 years in America. So, please, what the fuck are you talking about? Or wherever you are, even if you're in Canada, fuck, bro, you're fucking retard, bro. Honestly, Abe, you're a fucking stupid son of a bitch. Honestly.
How could you insinuate that this is worse off when you're saying you don't even know who's in control now?
If I'm saying who's in control now,
yeah, how are you saying that this power structure is going to harm if you're also saying that I don't know who's in control and I'm going to vote for people that know better than me? How could you make the assertion that this is bad while not knowing what's going on right now?
I don't know what's going on right now.
You said you don't know why this...
How can you know somebody what he means is wrong or right if you have not fucking read up on the fucking stuff and read up if it's wrong or right? So Abe, whatever you mean, whatever you feel, stick it up your ass. Honestly, Sneako, just fucking cook him, bro. Just say fuck, bro. If it was me, man, I would fuck him up. Honestly.
Okay, you said you don't know why there's...
Sorry, I'm actually trying. Should be a second.
Yeah, you said you don't know why there's an affordability crisis and you're not going to invest time into doing that. But you've made the assertion that the people I'm aligning with are going to harm. You cannot confidently say that this is going to be harmful while also admitting you don't know why there's an affordability crisis right now. So you can't prove a negative.
Okay, I'm going to answer a part of this because it's a part I do understand, okay? I know that if the extreme right or the Groypers get in power, that for minorities and for religious minorities like Muslims, it's a bad thing. They're very open about the fact that they don't like these groups. They don't want them to spread and they want to maintain their majority. So it is bad, right? You're eliminating people's freedoms, which and a country that should prioritize freedoms, you're already that. So it is inherently going to be bad based off of things that they want as opposed to. So I know that's going to be bad. Yes.
Is that better or worse than the power structure that we have currently?
Is that better or worse than the power structure that we have?
Is a white majority Christian country, like that power structure that you're saying is bad, like Nick Fuentes Corp, is that worse off than the power structure currently?
I think it's very close. I think you can make certainly the argument. I think either way, whether you're going to be advocating for MAGA or the Groyper types, I think you're fucking over your people. Yeah, for sure.
No, not fucking over the people.
I don't think that's a hot take though.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Right now, do you agree that Israel is in control of America?
I think Israel influences a lot. Yes.
Okay.
I think it has a lot of influence power. Yeah, sure.
And a white majority Christian, somebody, say it's like, it could be anybody, like that prioritizes Christianity, does not want to have Israel involved. Does that create a better, say there was a white Christian leader of America, and that doesn't have an allegiance to Israel. Would that be a better country for poor people, Muslims, brown people? Would that create a better environment for those people than what's happening with Israel right now? Or would that be worse?
I feel like, this is what I feel like. This is like the question, this is how I'm interpreting. So you can get back. I feel like I'm living in like Jim Crow segregation in America, and you're like, do you feel like it's better to be with here or the Nazis under them? And it's like, well, I feel like both of these apparatuses are horrible for me as a minority, and if I have an ideal choice, I'm going to try to align myself with people who are going to fight for my rights.
Which one is more harmful?
I would imagine probably Nazi Germany. Yeah.
But okay, instead of this hypothetical, I'm talking about what's happening now. Like,
but that is my point, though. I think the Groypers and their worldview is horrible. I think what they advocate for is horrible, and I think what MAGA is doing is horrible. So you got these two groups, and essentially, I'm saying.
Did Abe just say Nazi Germany is more worse than the South? Is this guy crazy? Abe, are you fucking such a fucking historian retard? Bruv, remind me never to fucking react to fucking Abe and that other guy. Because he's a fucking retard, honestly. He knows nothing about history. He knows nothing about social construct. He knows nothing about anything, bro. Anything. Global politics, fucking normal local politics, whatever, bro. Fuck, bro. Give this buddy... This guy should only dance and say nothing. I don't know, man.
Why don't you go with the third group, which actually benefits your people? Why align yourself with folks who are bad for your folks?
Would you rather live under Zionist control, or would you rather live in an America First control?
Oh yeah, so I should align myself with people who would chop off their dicks. Who want to be butt naked on the streets. Who, yeah, it's not only that. Okay, we don't care about that, but why do I need to ally with any of them? That's the problem.
Oh, for sure. Like, I 100%, I would not support Nick Fuentes or whatever we got right now. No,
it's not a question.
But it is, because you said no. It actually is.
It doesn't have to be Nick. It doesn't have to be Nick. I'm saying, would you rather live with?
I'm talking about Nick and the Groypers. Yes, I would not.
Okay, but that's not my question. Would you rather live?
But you already said that we. No. But you already said that we live under Zionist control. Is that not true? That's what you've been telling me this whole time. That Israel
you don't have to. I don't know if you.
So we live under the Zionist control.
I don't know if you've agreed with that. I'm simplifying the question as best I can. Would you rather live with Zionist control or without Zionist control?
Without.
Okay.
Hold on.
Then we agree.
I want to live without. Hold on. I want to live without foreign influence as much as possible when it comes to how politics operate in my country. That's the answer. Okay. So whether it's Zionist, whether it's some other group, I don't want nobody.
You're kind of obfuscating. What's the majority of foreign influence in America?
If you want to say it's Zionist, I don't mind. I agree.
I'm not asking. I'm asking what is it? Like, what do you think it is? So where's the majority of foreign influence coming from?
I imagine it's going to be probably, at least for the U.S., probably AIPAC and Israel.
Okay. And so that's causing the affordability crisis.
Why are you acting like I'm afraid to say it? I'm not afraid to say it.
I'm not acting like you're afraid to say it. But I'm trying to point out why I think you're getting distracted by some of the racist rhetoric. You point out Jim Crow, and that's preventing you from seeing the bigger picture. Like, overall, this stuff is very minor compared to the bigger issue. And again, I have disagreements with white Christians, but those disagreements are so minor compared to what's really happening and what's causing all the problems in our country. And that's what I'm focused on getting rid of, what I want to change.
I just think that right now, under the Zionist control that you claim, you have more freedoms than you would have if you were under a completely right-wing authoritarian, or the folks who want to just focus on making sure that whiteness is the major priority.
But you said yourself, your main issue is not freedom. You said your main issue was affordability. You said the main problem is affordability. That's the main concern happening in America.
Okay.
So I'm following your logic.
Concern, no. Concern means that this is the issue that we have right now. But it's only number one because our other needs are met for the most part. If your political friends got their way, we would have new number one priorities. Because I personally don't really going to think about housing as much or affordability if I'm going to be jailed for whatever reason, or if I'm going to be denied certain opportunities in terms of work because they want to make sure white folks are in power. So no, that's going to change the priorities, obviously. Yeah, I'm glad that these people don't have power. Because if they had power, it'd be worse off for all of us, including the Muslims and Haitians. Yeah.
Okay, but freedom is at number 4, right? And affordability is number 1?
Sure, not right now.
Okay.
No.
Well, do you agree that number 1 is the most important?
Yes. Because
okay.
Then
we
no. Hold on. We don't. Okay. And these words matter. When you say what's the priority, priority doesn't mean it's more important. I don't think affordability.
Priority does mean most important.
No. Listen. Just listen. When I say it's the priority, you're not prioritizing something because it's more important. You're prioritizing something sometimes because it's more pressing. More pressing means that it's an issue. So, example, Sneako, is having a house or ability to pay for things important?
Yes.
Okay. Is it more important than having human rights?
Human rights is a broad term. What do you mean specifically?
So let's say you lived underneath a government where you had no human rights. They could jail you anytime they want. They could kill you, and you're not a human. So that's it.
So, okay. The question is, what's more important, owning a home or having government infiltration?
No, I'm asking a simple question. What's more important in life? Having house or affordability or human rights?
Well, I don't think the two things are mutually exclusive because you wouldn't have human rights if you weren't able to buy a home. Like, I think there's an overlap there. These two things aren't separate.
If you lived in a country where you had no human rights, okay, but affordability was a problem, what would be your priority?
Where there's human rights and owning a home? But that question doesn't make sense.
Listen to the question. You have no human rights and affordability is really bad. You live in this country. There's no human rights, okay? The government can do whatever it wants, fully authoritarian, okay?
Okay.
Listen what I'm saying. No human rights, affordability is bad. What's the priority? What's more important?
Once again, there's an overlap there because like human rights are being able to own a home. That's part of a human right is owning a home.
Owning a home is a human right? When did that happen?
Having the ability to live in a house, yeah, like that stuff is part of human right, having a roof over your head.
Okay, so I'm going to answer the question for you since you're dodging, okay? So the answer is this. Human rights are obviously more important. You literally can't live or have freedoms if you don't have human rights. Is human rights a priority to me today? No, because we don't have an issue with human rights. So I would put affordability as the number one priority because that's where we're struggling. It does not mean that that is more important. It's just more pressing right now. That's the distinction I'm trying to make. You think that because I prioritize this, I think it's the most important thing in the world. No, I'm saying we have to focus on this because the house.
Okay, but what's more important, human rights or freedom? You don't need human rights if you have freedom. So, what's more important? Fucking dumb question. It's just, hey, Ape, you're trying to sound so smart and using your hands and opening your eyes like a crazy woman and, bruh, forget about it. You don't sound smart, you don't got Sneako got you, he dominates you, he's actually making you look more dumb than you probably are, but maybe you are that dumb, but yeah.
Is on fire. But after the house is not on fire, I still think human rights are more important. It's just this is the number one priority.
Okay, I mean, I don't think that frame of the question makes sense because, yeah, you're saying that being able to live, right? You can't raise a family or live properly without having a home. Like, so I don't see how that makes any sense.
Wait, you're not actually trying to say that having a home is is equal to like the right to freedom, do you?
What do you mean the right to freedom?
Like, do you think that's like a more important human right?
I'm asking. I want to hear that. What does that mean? The right to freedom?
Like to live in a country where basically owning a home is a human right. Okay, let's say that exists. Do you think that
human right is more that's important? Human right in America is being able to own a home. That's part of human rights.
No, that's something that we ideally want for people, but it's not a human right.
So what are human rights to you?
human rights involve a lot of your most basic necessities in regards to
Like a
things that
home?
you would
Like, if you don't have a home, you can't.
hold on. That you would expect to be enshrined in the law. There is no law that says you have to have a house. There is no law that says that you
You have the ability to, but it says you have the ability to own a house.
I mean, I would agree with that, but that's not something that the government has to ensure. But the government has to ensure that you have the right to freedom, that it won't be infringed on. That's a right that the government has an obligation.
Okay.
Okay, so these two things are fundamentally different. There's a priority. So I can think that affordability is more important, that you should have a need to be able to afford food and all these different things. And I think it's important that we take that down, but it's not more important to me than basic human rights.
Okay. I'm so confused about what you think basic human rights are.
Bro, food has nothing to do with human rights. Abba, you're a fucking idiot, bro.
Like what can you specific about that?
So the right to freedom in this case would be like the right to live your life without the government, in this case, taking that away from you. So they can imprison you, they could kill you at will.
I mean, right now they're putting people in jail and deporting people who are saying things they deem anti-Semitic. Police in Miami are going to people's houses because they're criticizing Israel. The mayor of Miami, who said, I'm not welcome in Miami anymore because I enjoyed a song, he sent police officers to people's houses because they infringed upon speech that he didn't like. So right now, you're seeing this infringing...
And that's why it's at number 4. It's the problem. It's definitely the problem, for sure. Number 4.
And number 1 is affordability.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think it'd be beneficial to look into the affordability crisis and why we have this issue now, why there's a debt crisis, you know, student loans, mortgages, the 2008 housing crisis, the central bank system, this stuff, where the money's going and why this happens, if that's your number 1 issue. That people to interest, you know, will look at the World Economic Forum saying you're not going to be able to own anything. They want us to rent forever. The wealth gap is getting bigger. Like, you could agree, right, that 1% holds so much of the wealth compared to the 99%. Even the 0.1%, we should look at who that 1%, that 0.1% is and why that is.
Sure, but I feel like this is a lazy way of dealing with an issue that's multifaceted. I don't believe that the reason why everything is unaffordable is Jews in Israel. But it sounds like you're saying it's just...
But you keep on proving negatives. You say... I keep hearing...
No, did you say what is it? No, you say what is it? But it's like, okay, what? So you don't think that there's other forms of greed involved? You don't think there's a tremendous amount of incompetence? You don't think there's shortages and resources? Like, the idea that we have a big problem when it comes to affordability, when it comes to whether or not we have access to food on a cheap scale, and you're just going Jews, it sounds lazy.
I'm not saying that's not what I said.
And you're trying to say...
That is what I said, actually. I explained the Rothschild bank system. I explained how they have connections to Israel. I explained how they got the land, how England sold it to them. You said you didn't know this and you didn't look it up. I didn't say Jews. I explained specific reasons, and then you said you didn't know. I never said Jews.
No, you said Zionism.
No, I said the Rothschild bank system is directly correlated to why that there's an economic problem right now, why things aren't affordable. And you said AI. I specified who's...
You said correlated?
You listed your reasons why you think there's an affordability crisis. I described it. I said who's in control. You said AI is taking all these jobs. I've described to you who's behind LLMs, who owns ChatGPT, Netanyahu, and saying what he's using AI to benefit. I didn't just say Jews. I'm giving you specific people in charge and things that are happening right now, and you said you didn't know this.
Which are connected to the Jews, correct? You're explaining me how.
Right, but you're simplifying. But you just simplified it, and you said it sounds simple, and you said just saying Jews, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm giving you specific reasons why this is.
Yes, but everything you just said still comes back to exactly what I said, which is that if you look through the thread long enough, you go to Rothschild and Israel, you talk to this person and they talk to Netanyahu and Israel. At the end of the day, it all leads back to what? The Jews.
What's your point?
At the end of the thread.
What's your point?
So it is the Jews.
And what's the problem, Abba? Why does it hurt you so much? Is it maybe because in Ethiopia they have a religion with who use the Star of David? Maybe you are one of them, and that is why you are so hurt about that honest analyze about the world economic situation.
You're explaining how, but you're saying it's the Jews.
It's not all Jews. I never said that. I'm saying that Israel has control over this, and this is where tax dollars are going. And there's a specific group of Jews in Israel who are using America as resources. But there's so many Jews who have nothing to do with this. I think you're also simplifying it by saying...
Okay, so it's not all the Jews. All of it leads back to some of the Jews.
I mean, that's a simple way of describing it, but I would never...
No, bro, there's a company who is owned... Oh, I forget how is it called... It's about Theodore, you know this guy Theodore Hertz something, who started the Zionist, didn't start it, but removed the Zionist agenda. He made two things. He made a company that owned companies. He made two companies, I think it was. A company who owned other companies and something else he made. So yeah, Abba, what's the problem? The Zionists own the world. Everybody know it.
Characterize my perspective like that.
Right, but eventually, if you follow the thread, all the different ones, it leads back to some of the Jews. That's what you said. You've explained how very technically, you know. But you're essentially saying it leads back to the Jews.
Well, I'm following your line of. I'm not even saying that from mine. You said your most important issue is affordability. It was AI and economy, and I gave you two things, and it went back to the Rothschilds.
I just asked a simple question. Do you feel like, have you explained it? It leads back to some of the Jews.
The affordability crisis right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I would just imagine that someone who's not connected to the Jews, or industries that are not necessarily connected deeply to the Jews, are also probably influencing a lot of the affordability issue. That would be
they also are, but I'm calling that you said that these are the two things affecting affordability crisis. So what else is it? Like, what else is affecting affordability?
That's not true. That's not true. The farmer, he ain't getting paid more. I haven't heard any farmers saying, "Oh, I had a big payday." So no, the farmer isn't getting paid more. The company is getting paid more. The government's getting paid more. Yeah, that's it. The supermarket, the grocery chain is getting paid more, but the farmer is not getting paid more. So Abba, you're Abba is lazy. Abba is the lazy one. Sneako and everybody else who's saying, bro, this is the fucking problem, this is the guys who are making the problem, is not the lazy guys. It's people like Abba who's the lazy guys. Who's deflecting, everything is just deflect. No, it's probably something else. No, it's probably... What the fuck are you keep on deflecting to something else? Fuck off, Abba. Shut the fuck up and eat up.
When you're telling me to look into Israel and all these different things, because you're saying this is the thing that's contributing or actually influencing or majoritarily causing the problem, and I'm like, okay, I hear you say that, but to me, it just doesn't sound very convincing because it feels very unifunctional. Even though you explain the branch, eventually just leads back to some of the Jews. Now look, let me concede. I'll concede. I'll concede. I don't know. And because I don't know, that's something I'm going to have to spend some time looking into, okay? So I'm going to admit I'm ignorant and I can own that, right?
Okay.
I heard what you said. I heard your theory. You know, I'm going to sit here and be like, I don't know.
Fair.
I'll concede. Because I don't know all these things, and so I'm not going to sit here and argue about the facts about the Rothschild. I don't know. But let's see here. Probably reaching the end. It's not shit for me. I had a different thing I actually want to talk about with you, just last part. Because in my research for this, I looked into quite a lot of your IMDb related stuff. I think you actually did quite a lot of short films. I saw that you have worked on some productions. You know, your IMDb got about 8 to 9 credits. I saw that you got quite a lot of fashion interest in terms of a clothing label, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Say it again.
Fashion interest. I know you have like a clothing label, fashion line.
I'm gonna drop it soon. It's at Sneako.com. I haven't released it yet. I'm working on it.
And then last I also saw there was some modeling work as well that you've done in the past. So you kind of like done quite a lot of extensive stuff from cinematography to fashion and then modeling.
Mm-hmm.
And also a rap song.
Yep, just made some songs with Lil Pump.
Got you. I know it's been like your voice because you spent a lot of time. You spent a lot of time doing arts in order to like kind of find a sense of truth. But some of these artistic mediums are obviously just an expression of things that you find cool or interesting. But where does these play a role in influencing you? So when you're doing fashion, for example, or when you're doing, I'm not gonna say music because it's lyrical, but let's just say.
But fuck you. But you're a fucking narc. You're a fucking bitch. You're fucking the problem with the world. You're the fucking reason people like you.
Fashion. What is that you're trying to do?
Why the fuck do you care? Sneako said to me and my fucking father, get off my dick. Why the fuck do you care, bitch? Are you my fucking whore? So I have to explain myself for you? Fuck you, Abba. You fucking nasty piece of shit. You're a fucking lousy human being.
It's the stuff that I am interested in. I like fashion, I like film, I like music. It's fun to do.
Is there any part of it that's like political to a degree, or is it mostly just an interest and it's not necessarily about truth? It's just I think this should look nice, or these are colors.
It's, yeah, artistic expression, stuff that I like.
Okay. When you do a lot of like the film stuff, or when you do YouTube things, or you do projects, my experience is I'm watching you and I feel like there's oftentimes a message. Fair?
Yeah.
When you do things that are not message related.
Oh my god, there's a message. There's a message with the video. Imagine that, bruv. That's so crazy, bruv. Sneako just invented messaging by videos. Crazy. Aba, you're a fucking idiot. Aba, you're a bruv. I don't know fucking how people even fucking watch your videos when you're so dumb. I watched your videos once, but I stopped, bruv, because you and this other guy, Aba, whatever, you're fucking idiots, bruv. You got no fucking game, bruv. You're fucking fools.
What influence do they have on you? When you're not like connected to the political world, because at the end of the people talk politics all day, and it's a big part of them, it's important. But when you're not doing that, what does that influence? What's that influence on you?
When I do things that aren't political, how does that influence me?
Yeah, what does that do for you?
It satisfies my need to be creative.
I think the thing I'm wondering is that I feel as though oftentimes politics is all consuming. You know what I'm saying?
Politics is all consuming?
Yeah, as in like it's, especially if you're very involved in politics, you know, it could bleed into your personal relationships, it could bleed into some of your hobbies, it could lead to a lot of things. And I'm wondering for you, is there ever things that you're able to do that make you fully disconnect, be it praying, be it the fashion related stuff? Yeah.
How do I disconnect from politics? I mean, yeah, it's different. I'm not fully consumed by politics. It's one of the things I do. But I played video games on stream yesterday. I'm dropping a video on my main channel tomorrow, which is like a documentary. And I'm dropping a clothing line very soon.
When you meet somebody and they don't know anything about you, they don't know anything about your politics, and conversation's not political, is there ever a part of you, because obviously you have this persona, a lot of people come in with baggage, or they come with preconceived notions about you. Is there ever a part of you that finds that kind of liberating when you're having experiences that are just very human on a very basic level?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, this world, politics can get very messy, and there's a lot of debates, and it gets angry, and it gets manipulative, and it's disingenuous. I am probably an artist first, and then streamer second for sure. I mean, my main focus has always been to do films, and then
honestly, Sneako, he seems so fucking real. But this ape, Aba, whatever, fucking time wasted, jerk off, honestly.
Like streaming a lot, I've been really enjoying it, but this is something I see as
debate in the past, and there's one part I played, and with all the life changes you had, I just wanted to play it. I just wanted to ask you if you think I'm tripping. All right? But don't make the stuff that you believe in consume you in that. Okay, so this is a discussion that we had. This was peak Red Pill era at the time.
Yeah.
And this is a portion that I really remember zoning in on, just because it was. Let me actually put it like that. It'll be a little bit small. It's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna just play here. That sense. And there's a lot of stuff they talk about reflection and pondering that you realize, like, oh, okay, there's a certain sense of like, as you get older, and this is true for most people, and you're going to go through it yourself, you're going to have a better view of yourself. Almost like you're seeing yourself in the third person. You know how you play video games first person shooting all the time? Playing a third person shooter is completely different, because now you got your whole body in frame, you see what it looks like when you crouch. I think as human beings, we gain more of that perspective as we get older in life if we're reflective enough. And what I used to believe at 21, I no longer believe now at 32, just because life's experiences and my own reflections realize like that's not true at all.
Maybe
like,
it's because you become more sedentary as you've gotten older. Like maybe
because you're fucking retard when you were 20, so you become a little smarter. Fucking baboon, man. You fucking idiot. You fucking... Honestly, I think a fucking duck has more brain than you, man. Listen. Just because you're a fucking retard doesn't mean the whole world is retards in that age. Just honestly, I don't even know what to say anymore.
It's because it's like you become less of that aggressive man that you were at 21. Like right now, I'm very like, I'm all about my testosterone balls, manosphere shit. And then maybe you're just 32 and you're like, man, let me settle down.
You like fucking, Sneako?
We all do, yeah.
You like fucking you, pussy?
Yeah.
Believe it or not, that shit gets old.
Nah.
100%.
Nah.
100%. And I could point you hundreds of players who are online right now who have videos of them telling you new pussy gets old. In fact, how about I tell you this one? And this is something even Andrew Tate says. This is something even Andrew Tate says. All right. Sex becomes overrated after time.
No, it's overrated now.
Yeah, it's like he says new pussy's like. Why do you think that is?
Because you get used to it. It becomes like when you eat the same food over and over again, it becomes boring. That's why you get new. That's why you get new pussy, so that you spice it up. Or keep upgrading.
But guess what? After you've had enough new pussy, there is no more new pussy.
There's always,
do you understand?
There's always
no, you think that. After you've had a few dimes, you realize dimes ain't nothing. I got some yapping about priorities, and I talk about like family and other things. Do you feel like I was tripping there, or do you think I was like missing it?
Well, yeah, I mean, pussy does get repetitive, and it's like it's a worthless pursuit. But I still do maintain that the best pussy is new pussy. That's going to be that hunt is still, it's never going to change. The best pussy is not like how tight or like what type of girl. It's always going to be that excitement of getting that new catch and the hunt and closing the kill, right? But still, it's just, it's an empty pursuit. It's still a waste of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even for me back then when we had that discussion, I think a lot has changed for me. I'm actually less sedentary than I was back then, so I have I'll be moving a little bit more as I get older. But
let's go.
Listen. I think some type of way right now. You thought some type of way before. You've evolved. I feel like you have gotten wiser in many regards, and I always commend that. We strongly disagree on things. That's okay. At the end of the day, I want you to do well for your people. I want you to do the right things, and even if it's not the things I think are right, hopefully you find your way. And I also have to have enough humility to realize like I was wrong about certain things back then too, and I'm still. So, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you giving me the chance to kind of ask you these questions and see where your head's at.
It takes a real man to admit when he was wrong and admit growth. That's again, that goes back to Malcolm X. He's all about growth. I think that's extremely important. And I don't see a lot of humility or admittance. I see a lot of ego from other creators, especially in the Red Pill Manosphere space, and it blinds them from being able to be honest. So I think that's an admirable characteristic about you.
That's probably one thing I was going to say, Sneako. When you said you took the God pill, you were done with the red pill stuff, and then you said, but I still like agree with a lot of it. When I saw you as a younger version of yourself, I'm not like, bring back old Sneako. I think that kind of rhetoric is corny. But I think one thing I loved when I was watching those videos, and I've been watching them freshly now, is that there was arrogance there. There was still like this kind of like puff your chest out attitude, but there was also enough self-awareness to be like, yo, I might be. And we're all insecure, and we're all just projecting. And the truth is, I want to slap your face because I have this insecurity deep inside of me. But I felt like when I saw you during the Manosphere area, I felt like you were doing a little bit of the peacocking, whilst like almost pretending insecurity wasn't there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Did you guys see the shift I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And
being a real man, is not being afraid of anything, and is addressing things head on and being truthful. So. Yeah, there's a lot of that rhetoric in the Red Pill. I'm never trying to start something, but the last thing I was going to lead on is just when you look back on the Red Pill era, what is your? I remember watching videos. Your biggest regret was associating with those goofballs. Is there anything other than that you thought back to your life? Well, I don't live with regret. I think it was important. I think it was important to realize who's real and who's fake, and I think it was important to go through that because I got a WRL.
Honestly, Sneako, it's a V, W, this Aba, it's a loss for him, bruv. Weirdo. But yeah, Sneaks, keep it up. Give them old timers fucking hell. Fucking don't give a fuck about anybody, man. All these guys fucking sold out. This guy, he speaks. Sneako ask him one fucking question. He doesn't even fucking know anything about it, man. Fucking waste, time waster. Great job, Sneaks. This other guy, he can suck it. See you guys next time.